The Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck. Or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck. Or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul. Both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
A CDC worker who's been missing for over a month is found dead in a river. Fox's Evan Brown has this live.
Yeah, Lisa, a body pulled from Atlanta's Chattahoochee River is that of missing CDC employee and U.S. Public Health Service officer Timothy Cunningham, first reported missing 6 weeks ago.
We have no indications to this point that there is any foul play.
Major Michael O'Connor of Atlanta's Police Department. The investigation as to how he died is underway. Cunningham was a Harvard-educated epidemiologist. The body was spotted by a group of people fishing along the riverbank. Lisa?
Thanks, Eben. Palestinians are preparing for more Friday demonstrations along the Israel-Gaza border after clashes last Friday that left at least 19 dead.
Israeli officials warning again, anyone, even unarmed protesters who approach the security fence may be shot. Palestinians, in response, rolling out hundreds of old tires to burn and obstruct the view of Israeli snipers. While Israeli officials say these are not protests, but instead terrorists using the cover of demonstrations to try to attack Israel.
Fox's Connor Powell in Jerusalem. America's largest tire maker, Goodyear, under scrutiny over crashes of motorhomes that killed or injured 95 people over 2 decades.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration last year began investigating whether its G159 tires are unsafe. This after a judge ordered the release of data sealed under court orders and settlement agreements. The lawsuits alleging the tires were designed for delivery trucks and not for recreational vehicles traveling at highway speeds. The company says it will cooperate in the investigation, which covers about 40,000 tires made from 1996 to 2003. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty will try to get his old job back, announcing his first run for office since his failed run for president in 2012. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There's so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K. Take it easy.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Kim Anderson of Chalampago, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Itinotmo, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue, fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop, I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A man accused of visa fraud and recruiting band performers from the Philippines faces another delay in his sentencing. Missing information in the pre-sentence report, as well as the lack of clarity over who has more culpability in the visa fraud case against producer Jemul Luciano, led Chief District Court Judge Francis Tydenko Gatewood yesterday to push sentencing back another week. Luciano, accused of sponsoring Philippine bands to perform on Guam and then using female band members to sell drinks at high prices in violation of their visa status. Judge Gatewood said the information available appears to present an inaccurate portrayal of events, which she said was unfair to all involved. Gatewood told the prosecution, "I feel like I've been misled." The prosecution has been instructed to produce a memorandum highlighting the culpability of all those involved by Friday. Guam fire personnel recovering the body of a woman last night from the shoreline beneath the Two Lovers Point area. Guam Fire spokeswoman Charika Chargaloff says the woman either jumped or fell from the cliff line above. The incident happened about 6:30 last evening. The body was recovered about 9 p.m. last night and transported to GMH. Chargaloff said the incident is under investigation. We'll have more news after this.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway. Make it what you want.
Looking for a reliable power system when the power goes out? Kohler Power Systems are quiet, reliable, and dependable. And they stay that way with regular service and support from the team at Morico Equipment because they also offer qualified after-sales service and support for Kohler Power Systems. Kohler generator systems are sold and serviced on Guam by Morico Equipment. You should call them now at 649-1946 or click moricoequipment.com.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Senator Tommy Morrison is calling it a day. He is the 7th sitting Guam lawmaker to announce he won't be seeking re-election in November. The three-term senator said he wants to spend more time with his family. He cited some of his accomplishments in announcing that he won't be running again. He said while he was in office, including laws for Guam youth and community programs, video cameras in public places to support law enforcement, moving more government services online, and funding street repairs. Morrison did find himself at the center of the USI Tech controversy a few months back. The company, which claims to be based in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, had sold Bitcoin-related investments to many Guam customers. Regulators in Texas and Canada banned USI Tech for being an alleged Ponzi scheme. USI Tech was heavily promoted here on island. Morrison's announcement leaves a wide-open field of seats in the Guam legislature, 5 of them Democratic seats. Speaker Benjamin Cruz and Senator Tom Atta, both Democrats, have announced they won't be running again. Democratic Senator Michael San Nicolas is running for congressional delegate, and Democrats Senators Frank Uggan Jr. and Dennis Rodriguez Jr. are competing in the gubernatorial race. Republican Senator Fernando Esteves, along with fellow GOP Senator Morrison, have also said they won't be running again. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray with some weather.
I can open the microphone and read it here. Mostly cloudy and scattered showers. Isolated thunderstorms today with shower activity decreasing this weekend. East winds 10 to 20 miles an hour during the day, and they'll get lighter to about 10 to 15 miles an hour once the sun goes down. Daytime highs today about 88 degrees and overnight lows 77. Sunset tonight will be at 6:33. Sunrise this morning in about 4 minutes. Let me put the weather map up here and see if there's anything that's worth looking out for. It says weak trough located between Guam and Chuuk is generating scattered showers and a few thunderstorms south of Guam. There's a possibility that these scattered showers and thunderstorms could approach Guam late today and tomorrow. Once this feature passes through, a dry weather pattern is expected into next week. And that's bad news for the firemen. They've been jumping from one place to another trying to put these things out.
Well, we can hope some more rain falls. This thing kind of cropped up just all of a sudden yesterday afternoon. And, of course, we saw some showers overnight tonight and through the morning. And maybe some more as we go through the day today.
Okay, so I need a prediction. 4 a.m. Sunday.
4 a.m. Sunday. Should be good. Maybe an isolated shower.
Or 2?
Or 3.
I'd like it to be a little bit heavier than that. I like running in the rain because it keeps my core temperature down.
Yeah, I mean, if this system could, somehow move up north a little bit more than what it is, then
maybe I get some. Okay.
Yeah, it could be a more widespread event this week.
Gotcha. 6:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you here by our friends over at Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
On April 14th, join Bank of Guam for the first ever Hagåtña City Ife Run and Block Party to benefit the Guam Cancer Care and the American Cancer Society Guam. This event begins with a sunset run through our capital, starting at 5 p.m. at the Chamorro Village, and the excitement continues at our block party with food trucks, beer garden, live entertainment, and the Greatest Beast competition, and a fun-filled kids zone. The Hagåtña City Ife Run and Block Party, Saturday, April 14th, brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
It's time for a Cold Stone break. Try the new strawberry shortcake and fresh lemon pie ice cream. You know, as soon as I'm done with the half-marathon diet, this is the first place I'm going. Mix them into your favorite fruits, nuts, candies, or even the Golden Oreo cookies. Golden Oreo cookies, they don't normally keep them there at Cold Stone. They've got they've got a delivery truck that gets them out of the vault at Bank Pacific and then brings them over to Cold Stone. Oh, right. And they get crushed and put into the ice cream stuff, and whatever's left over that goes back to the bank. Back into the vaults over there. They're that special. Cold Stone Creamery at the Guam Premier Outlets and Micronesia Mall.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Mangilao on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Mangilao. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Just last gander at the social media before the microphones go on, and we actually begin in earnest the Friday version of the Ray Gibson Show. And I'm listening to the music that we play, this theme that we run into the show with on Monday through Friday. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful piece, isn't it?
It really is.
This is the part where the horse goes galloping through the field. Can you see it in your mind's eye? Yeah. So, but I'm wondering, maybe we ought to have a special Friday morning theme. Maybe there ought to be something that we do that's just special for Friday.
Yeah. Well, it's a novel concept.
What are you doing later? See, you ever notice that when I say, I think we should do something, that should translate to, Mike, I think you should do this.
But I know you're not that kind of boss.
No, I'm not that kind of boss. I'd be very happy to go through the stacks in the library and find the appropriate music to get us started. Something like I said, just a Friday theme, because it's Friday. I just thought, let me just underscore that here, Friday. We'll put that in all caps and bold and air quotes around it, so everybody's got a groovy feeling about what we've got ahead of us today. Welcome to the program. It's the Ray Gibson Show. I'm not alone here, obviously. Mike Knight gets the phone when you call 888-8255. 888-8255 is the telephone number. Gets you all the way into the studio. Every once in a while, I talked to somebody yesterday. She says, I don't know why, but it disconnected on me.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Just keep trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Becky, when she called, she said, I tried to call earlier, but it kept turning on and off.
Maybe
And
we got
I
a
was
thing.
like,
Maybe
no
there's a
idea.
thing that we got to do to wake it up in the morning. I don't know. But anyway, just give it a shot. There's a bunch of different ways that you can get a hold of me. Chat with me on Facebook Live. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post is also here, and an interesting gaggle of stories that we've got to take us into our Friday morning here today.
Yeah.
But I tell you, the most amazing thing to me, and remember, this is against the backdrop of all of the other stories, but to this morning, the one that is the most amazing to me.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
Corned beef.
Oxen paw. I'm looking at this stuff. It's like $88 a case if you were to go to the store and buy it. Many places have a limit on how many you can buy.
Is it that good? I've never had it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I like corned beef. Okay, I will take corned beef in all of its iterations.
Over Spam?
Well,
tough.
You know, I was at the store the other day, and I had the opportunity to buy corned beef and Spam, and I took the Spam. Because you know, corn for me, corned beef is just something you have with rice. But I can turn Spam into anything. I can turn it into dessert if you want me to. But corned beef has only got kind of that one thing going for it. But it's amazing to me how many of these heists there are. We got a couple of guys that are being thrown in front of the man here for stealing $12,000 worth of corned beef and canned mackerel.
Must be money in it.
Yeah, well. You think there's a tertiary market here?
A little resale going on somewhere?
Yeah, at about half the price to the poor people who need, and you know, a can of corned beef oxen palm with a bag of rice.
Oh,
man,
yeah,
you could feed the whole family for a week, man.
Sure, I'm not discrediting that idea, but there just seems to be so much of it. I'm wondering. I was talking about those Oreo cookies, the golden Oreos that they keep in the vault at Bank Pacific. Right, maybe instead of warehouses, we need to keep the oxen palm and the mackerel and the Spam at the vaults over at Bank Pacific as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It seems to be happening with such increasing frequency these days. It wouldn't surprise me if you wanted to get a case of oxen palm. You would need to go with the lady behind the counter and behind the curtain.
Unlock the key, open up the cabinet.
Sure. There's so much of that. We'll have it delivered under armed guard. It sounds far-fetched, but I think these businesses and the wholesalers and the retailers are probably going to start getting tired of getting ripped off all the time and take some pretty aggressive steps to be able to prevent that.
Could be hungry people out there.
A lot of them. The other story is Tommy Morrison. This one's starting to move around yesterday, who has decided that that's it. He's quits over at the legislature and is not going to be on the ballot to entertain votes and into the 35th Guam legislature.
Wow, 7 open seats.
7 open seats. That's right. That is, I want to say, kind of unprecedented around here, which leads me into a thought, and I haven't really fleshed this thing. It just came to me in the last couple of minutes. But this is where my head is at. This is a trend I'd like to see. This is a trend I'd like to see. In fact, what I really would like to see is we elect 15 guys into the 35th Guam legislature.
And gals.
Yeah, guys and gals. 15 humans. We'd elect 15 human beings into the 35th Guam legislature, and at the end of the 15th Guam legislature, all of them would be out. They would all, your time we'd do it like jury duty. Everybody has to serve a term in the legislature.
There is something to be said about experience, though. And we're losing a lot of experienced people over there.
To be replaced by?
The young and inexperienced.
I don't know. I went to a fundy last night. I wanted to see some friends, so I went to a fundraiser last night, and it was one of those things. There were a lot of people obviously supporting this guy, and Republicans and Democrats. So, but I don't know. Does the new name? Do the new people that are coming in? Do they have to have legislative experience? Should they have some business experience, some real world experience, and just somebody that's lived life for 2 or 3 decades, and might be able to bring some common sense to some of these arguments that we have?
The voters will decide.
The voters are going to decide, that's for sure. But among what kind of slate will they decide? That's the trick here. And if you start looking around, and Clint Rigel over at PNC likes to do this story every once in a while. He'll run up and talk to Maria Pangilinan, and then on the way out get a scan of all of the names of people that have come by and either picked up packets or had packets picked up for them. Committee to draft Michael Knight for senator or something like that, which is not unheard of. There's apparently a couple of 2 or 3 of them. Mark
running? He's running? Yeah.
You don't want me to run.
I think we should run.
If I'm going to run, I'm going to run for king.
What's that?
I'm going to run as the king.
The king.
The king.
See, I always thought, yeah. I don't know about king, though. Maybe Ayatollah. That seemed to me to, if you're going to have a title, that sounds like a good title to have. But anyway, so play around with that. We'll see if I can find a most recent list of folks that have picked up their packets, etc., over at the Guam Election Commission. Read off some of those names and give you a sense of whether or not we got that kind of experience that's going in there. Or is it just people that happen to have, cool, trendy names in the social media and folks like that?
Any real correlation between the names you see that will not be running and those that voted for all these high taxes and things? I mean, could it be that they all realize after all of that they're just
not going to see the support from the legislature, from the voters? It's possible. It's possible. Although in Tommy's cases, there's a lot of reasons. Some of them personal that make a whole lot of sense. And in the interview, in the story that Chris Barnett did last night on KUAM, it wasn't just Tommy Morrison. He also spent some time talking with Tom Atta, and Tom Atta had expressed regret in that story about spending so much time plugged into his career, plugged into the political career, that he missed a whole lot at home. Thank God for grandkids, right? But he missed a whole lot at home with the other kids as they were growing up, and that's part of the sacrifice of service, if you want to. Now, I don't want to make it overly elaborate. I'm sure there's a lot of other perks of the service that we don't generally mention when we make our swan song interview for the cameras. But I'm saying that there are obviously some personal reasons why you'd want to do that.
One thing BJ said yesterday on the phone.
You were pointing at me. I'm freaking out.
He said he was tired. Maybe that's what's getting all the rest of these folks, too. They realize after all of this time and all of this effort, we can see that we're making very little headway, really. It all seems to be just the same old thing, regurgitated year after year after year, and maybe they're just tired of dealing with that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna poo-poo that too much because
that's why I did.
Because I'm glad that you did. Because the reason is if that is the case here, then frankly, after a couple more weeks of doing this program, there's no point to doing it anymore because we will have covered a lot of the same ground. In fact, I'm here to tell you that many of the things that we have talked about here since we've been back on the air in February. Is the same stuff that I talked about when I was at K57 for 11 years on the air.
That's
they're the same issues. We have a problem solving them, and they get recycled. I thought we would put away the conversation about solid waste, but we're going to continue to have that. It's going to be the next thing. It's going to be just down the road. Soon we will start to hear more of the grumblings and conversations between the solid waste receiver, who's got a cush job and doesn't work for Eddie. They generally work for the lady over at the court. And the lady over at the court has given them carte blanche on many of the things. And then you got the guys from the GSWA. In fact, they've got a meeting. I think they've got a board meeting here in the next day or two. And among the things that they're going to talk about is, man, how do we screw the receiver? How do we get rid of these guys so that we can take over the job? So that in and of itself will be interesting as well. But it's another one of these balikbayan concepts. I learned that from my partner Richard when he was worried that I was going to hire too many people that had already worked in the company. He sat me down and he says, "Ray, let me tell you about balikbayan. You know what the word is?" Yes. I said, we're bringing things back. There are things you don't need to bring back. As an example, when we get to talking about who is going to fill these now 7 seats that are guaranteed open at the legislature, in addition to the ones that the members of the 34th that are not going to be asked to return by popular demand of the voters. And this is the question that we've got here is there's a bunch of people that have picked up packets that have already been in the legislature. They've already been senators. And
coming back.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, they didn't get director or deputy director positions anywhere, so they want back into the legislature. And do we want any of them, despite the fact that they might have some years under their belt, might have some rings in their tree, might have a little bit of legislative experience that you're asking about, but there's a reason why they're not in the legislature anymore.
That too.
And maybe we ought not to automatically give them a pass just because they've got it. I think they have to re-earn it, just like all of the rest of the people that are running for the job.
In terms of senators and things like that, politicians' past performance is indicative of future results.
That is generally true. That is generally true. We'll keep that. You're very good with the quotes today.
I'm on a roll, man. It's Friday, but
you bought them. Did you buy them on the same kind of roll they have over in the government of Guam?
Mine's with the raised embossed letter.
I still have this. Friends. What I'm holding in my hand looks to you on the Facebook like any ordinary roll of toilet paper. This is no ordinary roll of toilet paper. This is an example of what happens when you've got bureaucracy that is run amok, that is beyond control and beyond questioning. What we have here is a roll of embossed. You can make out in the shadows of the high def. Maybe not. It is embossed. It says property of the government of Guam, property of Gov Guam. And it says that generally twice on every individual sheet of toilet paper. This is not the only thing. This is not the only souvenir from the government of Guam that I'm sure that employees, LTEs, et cetera, are going to be walking out with. They've also got little paper hand towels. The embossing is better on those. So the point that I want to make with that is you buy stuff on a roll. So apparently does the government of Guam. It's 6:28 and change. Headlines coming up in a second. As I said, I went to a fundy last night and had a reasonably good time. They're expensive. These fundraisers.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. So somebody said, you check the thing out, and we're all going to be there and hang out. And I went there, and I gave the lady a $20 bill. And when I walked in, and she says, here's your drink coupon. And that was it. Here's your drink coupon, sir.
How much?
It's $20. There's food
That's
there.
about right, isn't it?
There's food there. Company was good, but you had to buy your raffle tickets on top of that. You know what the problem is? I'm going to tell you what the problem is. Guy's a Republican. Guy's a Republican. Hands down, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. You party Democrat, but vote Republican. You go to a Democratic fundraiser, it's $10. There's going to be great food. Right. You might get more in a drink coupon. You might get some other raffles, etc. But it's going to be your fundraising dollar goes a whole lot further at a Democratic fundraiser as opposed to a Republican fundraiser. If you don't believe me, just try it. Just try it. There's going to be a whole bunch in the next several weeks, so you'll have an opportunity to test my theory. Party Democrat, but vote Republican. But the highlight of the evening, as far as I was concerned, was a karaoke bar. And I'm listening to a song, a Chamorro song. And I turn around and I said, this guy is absolutely nailing the vocals on this old Johnny Sablon tune. Right. And I turn around, and the guy that's singing this old Johnny Sablon tune is Johnny Sablon. It's Johnny Sablon. And I thought that was incredible. This is great. You should do this all the time. You and Flora should come out here and do all your big karaoke songs in the play. That was what was also terrific. And I'm 55 years old, and I've known Johnny Sablon. Johnny Sablon has been an entertainment icon since before I was around. And so for me, that was a special treat to see him do that. But it was made even more special. There were 1, 2, 3 attractive 21, 22-year-old girls who have absolutely no business knowing who the hell Johnny Sablon is. But they did. They did. They passed, and they all of them made that sound at the same time. They recognized him. They recognized the moment for what it was. This is a musically cultural icon that was singing his own tune at something as fun as a karaoke fundraiser in Antigua last night. And I thought that was the highlight of the evening for me, and brings to what's the word I'm looking for? Brings into very revealing light just how great this place is. What a wonderful community we live in. 6:31 in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show, but right now we got to do some headlines. Kevin Kerrigan now from the Guam Daily Post.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 32 minutes past 6 a.m. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Guam Supreme Court Justice Robert Torres is troubled about the disproportionate share of cuts that the judiciary has been asked to bear in the fiscal realignment plan submitted last week to the legislature. During a meeting of the Judicial Council yesterday, the judiciary's financial controller, Chris Budasi, reviewed the impact of the current and projected budget cuts faced by the judiciary. During his presentation, he noted that although the judicial and legislative branches have seen 10% cuts in their budgets this fiscal year, the executive branch has not. Under questioning by Justice Torres, Budasi explained that although the governor's office budget has been reduced by 10%, when cuts to the other executive branch agencies like public safety and public health are factored in, the total reduction in the executive branch budget was about 5.6%. That's troubling to me, said Justice Torres. It seems we've been asked to bear a larger percent. Torres urged Budasi to be firm in our position to share proportionately in the cuts with the other branches. We've done our part, said the judge, and I think we should be active in voicing our displeasure with that proposal. PHC Corporation has received full approval of all of its H-2B visa applications as 171 more petitions were approved yesterday. The 333 positions are all for military projects on Andersen Air Force Base and includes carpenters, construction equipment mechanics, electricians, and iron workers. The governor is hopeful the federal government will now approve all applications for more skilled laborers for other projects critical to the island's infrastructure. In Superior Court yesterday, 2 men were charged with stealing more than $12,000 worth of canned corned beef and mackerel from their employer, the owner of the 7-day supermarket in Harmon, calling police after conducting an inventory and finding 150 cases of canned meats and other goods missing. According to court documents, a warehouse employee alleged that they witnessed the warehouse manager, Edwin Ocampo, and former employee Iancinto Namio take the canned goods. The magistrate report states that Ocampo allegedly admitted that he gave Namio 12 cases of canned goods, but he denied stealing anything else. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think that's a good idea. 6:34 is the iConnect time here in the studios of The Point. Talk longer for less. Connect longer for less with iConnect. Push to talk mobile and internet plans.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit The Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Luis Munia on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at The Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
It's time for Right Now Traffic on The Point. We call it Right Now Traffic because I'm looking at real-time traffic maps, and I'm seeing traffic begin to build on Route 16 on the way into the over-underpass. Also, traffic in the Tumon area starting to get up a little bit over by the Reef Hotel and up Santos Hill, going to start getting busy through there. Traffic headed up Kmart? Yeah, up to Kmart Hill might be starting to build as well. Route 14, maybe on the way into Parisville. And St. Anthony School is going to be building. Route 8 on the other side of the Tiedzin intersection. The one good street that they've got going into Tiedzin, on the other side of that, the far end of it, looks like we've got some traffic building through there. Nothing major that you need to know about except for a line of traffic that is making its way from in front of Antelope people from around the Maina area trying to get onto Marine Corps Drive, or maybe there's just something big going on at Antelope. Watch out for a couple extra cars down there. 6:35, and that's the traffic.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. 888-8255 is your telephone number to the actual radio station here. Love hearing from you. Love hearing your thoughts, your ideas on what the big deals are. And if you don't have any, that's okay. There are a lot of people just woke up this morning and said, tell me what the big deals are. And I'll just go along with whatever it is that you're going to be talking about. Earlier, we were talking about the ox and palm stuff, right? All these canned meats and meat-like products that are getting swiped over at the stores. And I was talking about, one of these days, I think that we're going to have to get around to doing armed delivery of ox and palms. It's not going to be the friendly van out there with the big bright logo on the side. It's
guards,
guns,
and
sure. And I was talking about, they're going to move that stuff now. It's going to be behind the counter, behind a glass. And my buddy James, he says in the Walmart in Honolulu, they do that. Walmart in Honolulu, I have no reason to think that he's pulling my leg here. He says in Walmart in Hawaii, they lock them up in plastic housings, and they only sell them one at a time.
Yeah, and they did that in Kona right before I left there. Yeah, on the Big Island.
I was just kidding with my stuff.
It's true. It's true.
That's fact, and you know this because you live there.
I saw it. No, I've seen it. No, one day you could walk in, get Spam and everything off the shelf at Walmart, and one day suddenly it was under lock and key, and it wasn't in a plastic thing; it was in a metal thing.
Yeah,
completely removed from the other meats. They were like, if you're looking for Spam, go to aisle whatever.
Now, did it have anything to do with the same reasons that we
absolutely,
are?
Absolutely,
because people are going in there and stealing the ox and palm.
The problem really existed more on the other side. Now, I was on the Big Island, so it's a big island, and you have Hilo and Kona. I was in the Kona side. The problem was actually on the Hilo side. So it's old Hawaii. It's a poor population there, and so they had a bigger problem with that. But they said, well, since you're on the Big Island too, we'll just do it the same way on the other side.
Fascinating. That is absolutely all right. I got you. So it's not that far fetched, ladies and gentlemen. We just been living high on the hog, trusting too many people. But apparently,
catching up on the times.
Yeah, enough people that have burned us that we're probably going to need to start asking those things for like one at a time. Is put those in with you know what they're going to put those in with? They're going to put it. It's going to be ox and palm. Next to the Nicorette gum at Kmart. You never went through that, right?
No.
So when I tried to quit smoking, I used Nicorette for a while, and the problem with Nicorette is, number one, it works. It's very effective in helping with the cessation, right? All of the feelings, because it's still got
another thing to buy though.
It's got nicotine in it, right? A, it's expensive, and B, there weren't that many places where you could get it where it was readily available. If you wanted it, you go to Kmart over by the pharmacy, and you had to wait for somebody. And you know how it is. You got to wait for somebody to come by with the key to open it up so you can get your stuff. And 10, 20 minutes for this, forget it. Where's the cigarettes? I'm going to start smoking again. Unbelievable. 20 minutes away from 7 o'clock in the morning. And I mentioned his name here because he was a part of that story, as I mentioned, that Chris Barnett did on KUAM. Tom Addy. Tommy got caught up with Chris, or Chris caught up with Tomas, and Tom the Hammer Adda was talking about some of the things that he regretted punching in, plugging in for the career all that time. Good morning, Senator.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
I thought that was an interesting thing. I'd never realized that was among your sacrifices. Was missing out on the kid time.
Well, there was that. I'm fortunate, of course, that they have a good mom, and she backfilled the void that I left. But probably, actually, the biggest price that an individual pays when he goes into that public arena is the loss of privacy.
Yes.
And so, and by that I mean, you know, there are things that maybe the regular John Doe could commit, and, you know, nobody bats an eyelash, but, you know, get an elected official in the public arena to commit the same offense, or maybe even less, and it makes the front page of the paper. So, you know, you're certainly living, you move into a glass house, you're under the microscope all the time, and sometimes, you know, it's difficult to even get through a dinner because, you know, somebody comes by, it's an opportunity to say, hey, I got this problem, and, you know, can we talk about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a little bit about that kind of thing, and it comes with the territory, and you're taking advantage of an opportunity to move away from that territory and spend a little bit more time concentrating on what is important. But that's down the road. The reason why I called today was because I wanted to see if I could get. I haven't read the legislation, but you've got a hearing today on above ground storage of regulated substances, and I wanted to get your splains on this one, so we could figure out whether this is a good idea, bad idea, or what. Are we going to make any money on it? Do we make any money on this bill?
No. And actually, you know, what the legislation does is, you know, right now we have we have approximately, over 200 above storage tanks that's on island, on the military base, out in the civilian community, with a storage capacity of about 170 million gallons of fuel. And then on top of that, we also have like 50 miles of pipeline that connects these terminals, right?
Sure.
And so right now, a lot of these operations are actually fall under the purview of the U.S. EPA. U.S. EPA has, you know, put out certain regulations as how above storage tanks are to be operated, et cetera. But the enforcement of those regulations are really given on a regional basis. So what happens basically is, if a violation occurs out here on Guam, Guam EPA, you know, all they can do is take note of it and inform Region 9 that, hey, we have a violation out here. And then they'll have to schedule, you know, somebody to come out to Guam and do the necessary investigation and issue fines or whatever. But by actually then enacting local laws that gives that kind of authority to Gov Guam, we can take more timely action in, you know, enforcing any violations that might occur, and to be doing, you know, a more frequent monitoring and inspection of these facilities. So that's really what this does. But
do we got the people for it, Senator? We got the manpower? The guys over at EPA write out a citation right away?
We're actually doing it now.
Uh-huh.
And with the enactment of this law, it does not take away from the authority of the U.S. EPA and the federal government. We basically, you know, just are giving the local government that authority to go out there and inspect and to enforce the regulations that exist. So one of the things that the bill says is that the Guam EPA will develop rules and regulations. Well, it's not going to sit down and reinvent the wheel. Probably, most likely, what it will do is it will adopt federal regulations by reference, just like we did with the building code.
Yes.
You know, we looked at that building code and they said, okay, we adopt 99% of this code except for the ones that require a fire sprinkler in each home, or one that requires a fireplace.
So we modify it for our, I remember the conversation where there were some things that didn't make any sense here because a lot of that regulation was put together in places where there is snow and ice to worry about. So those are the things that we can eliminate, as you say, in the reference of these measures. Now, the reason why I wonder about the ability of the EPA to be able to do all of this, and I know that they've got some good enforcement guys on the team now, but I worry primarily because there seem to be other issues, and it will sound like another one of those Ray Gibson rants, but I've wanted the EPA to go after the trash trucks for a long time because they don't plug the holes in the back. So you've got this Hanum Basula, this stinky trash water that comes out, and I consider that a public health violation. And the guys that are supposed to be going after that are the fellows from the EPA, and it seems to me that they should be doing more of those kinds of things, but I don't hear about the enforcement.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but well, first of all, EPA is a very small agency.
Yeah,
and in fact, most of their funding actually comes from the U.S. EPA, from the federal government. But they do have a good staff on board to carry out a lot of these inspections and be able to report back to the U.S. EPA that we need your assistance out here to do this or that, whatever.
Yeah, well, I just don't know that they'd be equal to the task of watching out for how many millions of gallons and linear miles of pipeline were you talking about?
Yeah, it's about 100, and we have a storage capacity for about 170 million gallons of petroleum, and then 50 miles of pipeline to transfer fuel from one terminal to another, from PD all the way up to Anderson, for example.
So we need to have people over at EPA that are, certified in tank inspection, know what they would be looking for and trained to do it, and pipe guys. I just call Jessica Barrett and have the plumbing guys come over and take a look every once in a while and see what's going on. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. It'd be interesting to hear what the EPA guys have to say about it in the hearing. That's going to be about 9 this morning, right?
It starts at 9.
Okay.
There's also another interesting bill that's up for public hearing this morning.
Is it it's 256, right? That's my chicken farm bill?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I introduced the bill working in collaboration with Manhita Farms, more so out of the interest of advocating for the food security on our island. So, certainly this 50-acre farm is not going to replace the, it's not going to substitute the imports of fresh produce that comes in. But, there may be times when these imports may get delayed for whatever reason, and we should have some kind of capacity on island to, produce some fresh produce, produce eggs.
Stewing chicken. Don't forget the stewing chicken.
Well, there's that too, yeah. So, they're looking at one of in their next phase of development is really developing a chicken farm to produce the eggs, and there's a lot of byproducts of that. The manure can be utilized for
crops, fertilizing.
Fertilizer.
Yep.
The methane gas from the capturing of that manure can be used to generate energy. And I'm not sure what goes into how many times a chicken produces eggs before it gets put on the wayside.
Oh, they'll figure that out. I mean, that's all 4-H stuff. The guys will knock all of those simple projects out. It's just the idea that they need to have access to the land for a longer period of time. So basically, all this is providing the authority for them to use this land for 26 years, and then renewal options at 10 years. Yeah, I like this. Let's take it easy on these guys, because one of the things, forget about food security, forget about methane, forget about fertilizer. I want cheap local eggs. That's what I want. So the easier we can make it for these guys, the more likely they are to be able to generate locally produced fresh eggs at prices cheaper than what we are buying in the store today.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we should not forget that, this same sort of venture was attempted back in 1991. On that 50-acre piece of property, And they tried going at it for like 4 years, and it crashed and burned, and then it laid fallow for like 20 years, and then Manita Farms stepped forward and indicated their interest in making a go of it, and so far they've invested about I would say about $1 million into the operation. And they're looking at, investing more to make this be a viable operation.
Well, I got my fingers crossed they'll be able to strike gold on this one, and we'll all be able to enjoy some eggs here that are made from Guam. Senator, I'm going to let you run. I want you to have a great weekend. Am I going to see you out there somewhere?
Somewhere out there, yeah.
You going to run the marathon?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
By the way, you were talking about fundraisers.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Cancer Society had a fundraiser, and Triple J was the host. That drive-through
barbecue.
Drive-through barbecue. So I went there and I picked up 5 plates for the house, and man, I tell you, it was a good place.
Okay, well, first of all, it's Triple J, and they got really good meat. You remember Triple J Wholesale? They got really, really good meat. They have all of it. I'll bet it was Angus too, right?
Well, yeah, it was Outback. It was Outback that was preparing the food right there on the spot. And I tell you, it was excellent. I mean, God, if they did this every Friday, I'll swing by there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would have stopped by yesterday because I saw it. I was on my way down to Tumon because I wanted to be there for the street lighting. GVB and golly, AM Orient, and who else is there? G4S and those guys. They've spent. I didn't realize that it had taken this long. But they have gone through all of the street lights that were put up in the early 2000s and refurbed all of them, all of the electrical that had gone south, whatever, short circuits. They've changed out all the lights. And so, I don't know, it's a $1.82 million. And a couple of years later, they had the street lighting ceremony down there. And so, I don't know, just after sunset. And Mr. Milton Morinaga gets up there, opens the panel, and hits the switch on this. And it was palpable. It was palpable when the lights went up. There was a lady that was jogging across the street, and she stopped jogging and looked over at this group of people that had amassed around this control panel and started clapping and said, "Thank you." Thank you. That was something else. It was nice to be a part of that. Senator, good luck to you this weekend. We'll talk again.
Yes, sir.
Tom the Hammer Ada on the program here this morning, talking about a couple of those bills. As I said, you got one of them that says, "Here, EPA, here's more work for you." And a lot of the regs are duplicates of what we already see in the federal side. I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it. It is my rant, and you can join. You can borrow this rant if you want to. It's just that on trash days, generally in this town, it's trash day in the neighborhood because you've got this god awful smelly water that comes out is the stinkiest thing that you've got.
You talked about Tumon.
It stays there. Yeah, they get it in Tumon.
See, I would go down there and go to work at the other place, right?
Yeah.
And get there at 5. It's already stinking to high heaven.
Yeah.
Take a break at 9:30. It still stinks.
It's still there. Yeah, because the stuff gets and it just kind of dries on the ground.
Yeah, if there's no rain, it just. Ugh.
And as far as I'm concerned, public health violation, and that needs to be curbed. 6:53 in the morning. And good morning. Oh, I got it. This is so important. I got to take care of this because this lady takes care of me like she's my mother, right? She sent me beetle nut. She had Uncle Carl send me a big bag of pickled mangoes that you guys missed out on. And just a terrific lady. Auntie Jerry Gutierrez is celebrating a birthday today. Now, I don't know whether today is her birthday, but I believe it is. And because Bob Kelly's on the chat this morning, and he wanted to throw that in there. So happy birthday to you, Auntie Jerry, and thanks for taking such good care of me. Other people that are on the thing this morning include Lee Stahl and Lynn Vince Borapolino. Bob Lizama, good morning. Blake Watson, hey, what's that? Lazarum Ignacio Atencio. Frankie Gutierrez, I see you. Mark Colby, fun talking with you the other day. Big Sister Shelley is there. Sahara Defensor is there. And in defense of some of the younger, inexperienced members of the legislature. There's a couple of people in the chat that made a couple of points about being young and dumb and inexperienced, and maybe the legislature isn't the right place to be. And Sahara says, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but as a member of the young generation, I have to point out all of the not so horrible things that have been accomplished by the youngins. Have some faith and maybe elect people with more than just grandstanding qualifications. See, I know what you mean. It's just kind of tricky. You don't know until they're there. Until they're, frankly, it amazes me that people haven't realized that I really have no talent for this job. I'm not any good at it, right? And I'm waiting for one day. It's going to be top story in the Guam Daily Post. Ray Gibson has no talent, doesn't really know what he's doing every day. It's a big sham. But you don't know it until you know it.
We did that story last year.
Did you? I wasn't a subscriber then. I'm just saying, you don't know until you get look, how many times bosses out there get this, HR people out there get this. You have people that will sail through an interview. You're hiring for a job, and they will absolutely sail through the interview. They'll catch you in the fields, right? And you just get this sense, this is the kind of person I want on my team. Right. This is the kind of person that you know what, we're all going to go to hell together, and I'll hold the door for you, right? That's the thing. So, and then after they've been in the company for like a week or two, you realize that you have made a huge mistake, and all of a sudden you've got that buyer, that employer remorse, and you start thinking about different ways to deal with this person. How do I do this so they don't find the body, right? That's the thing that pops through your head and that's I think what happens when we're voters. We see these guys in the media, we see these people, and they're doing the social thing, and they're out there and getting their pictures taken with everybody, and they're saying all the right things at all their commercials, right? It just sounds like somebody with better than a high school education wrote out the ad, and they're out there doing it, and it sounds so good, so rich, and so appealing. You cannot resist filling in the oval with their name on it when you go vote for them. And then the second you see them on the legislative channel, the second you read something that they've introduced as legislation, you go, oh my God, this is going to be a long 2 years, isn't it? It doesn't happen all the time. Doesn't happen all the time, but just often enough. So we take everything with a grain of salt. And Sahara, I understand. It's just hard to be able to sort through people with real qualifications versus the grandstanding qualifications. You don't know until you know. 6:57 and change in the program, and I do want to take another opportunity to congratulate the guys at GVB, and I know they were working with some other people, obviously, but it was kind of their party yesterday. Down across from where Proa is. And so the lights are probably off right now because it's daytime. And but even if they left them on, right, it's LED lights. Do you do this at your house? Do you turn off all of the lights? In the old days, I used to be the light Nazi in the house. Right. But I don't worry so much about it because I've got these, super efficient LED lights all over the place. So as far as I'm, it's pennies a month as opposed to, dimes a day.
I turn mine off because, quite frankly, there's nobody there.
So we don't need to look at those. But they looked really good last night. And it's just nice to have all those things there. The problem, as Nate pointed out in the program yesterday, was we've got all of these video cameras down there. We've got all this surveillance on the place, but at night it weren't any good because there wasn't enough light to make out anybody's faces. And unfortunately, there is crime down there. What do we got here? My friend Jim says put senators on a 90-day probation period. If it turns out that we have elected a whole cast of Maudu, then what we do is we pull them out and we go with whoever came in at number 16 and inaugurate them. What do you say? We'll play around with the concept as the morning show continues. It's 7 o'clock already. We're KUSG Hagåtña. Here's Fox News Live. Where'd it go?
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. The U.S. Defense Chief and Homeland Security Chief are on the same page.
Secretary Mattis agrees with Secretary Nielsen that border security is national security.
Pentagon spokesman Dana White at a briefing still short on specifics about sending National Guard troops to the Mexican border. Logistics of the president's plan still being worked out, and not all of the governors involved have jumped on board. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
Lisa, while California Governor Jerry Brown hasn't weighed in yet, the state National Guard here has. They say they're looking at the request as they did in 2010 and 2006, but we're waiting on more details. National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd says the Guard would be a big help.
It allows them to take over the surveillance positions, which then allows us to deploy more of our agents on the border.
And some congressional Democrats say this is very much not needed, but Judd says attempted crossings seem to be increasing again after falling, mostly with people coming from Central America, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. No damage reported so far in Southern California after an earthquake, magnitude 5.3. It was centered offshore in the Channel Islands. Fox's Trace Gallagher felt it near Santa Monica.
If you drew a line and you went right off the coast of Malibu, that's kind of where it was. 9 miles deep, not really deep, but not really shallow. I mean, the depth is important here because the deeper these things are, the more widespread they're felt, and the shallower they are, the more damage they tend to cause.
Still, the Los Angeles Fire Department in earthquake mode, checking for any damage to major infrastructure. Wall Street overcoming its fear of a trade war, at least for today. The Dow up 240 points at 24,505. The Nasdaq gains 34. The S&P up 18. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualified today.
The verdict just in at a second trial over claims that talc products, including baby powder, contain asbestos and can cause cancer. Johnson & Johnson won the first case, but today a jury in New Jersey says the company and a talc supplier should pay at least $37 million to a man who blames his cancer on their products. Johnson & Johnson is fighting thousands of cases, some claiming ovarian cancer, and insists that Johnson's baby powder, which has been on the market since 1894, does not contain asbestos or cause cancer. The family of a Utah boy with Down syndrome drops a discrimination lawsuit against the Boy Scouts of America.
Logan Blythe's family sued the Boy Scouts after the organization suspended his Eagle Scouts project. Local Scout leaders made accommodations to help Logan advance, but the national office essentially voided Logan's merit badges because he didn't follow the badge requirements to the letter.
Fox's Steve Rappaport, the family ultimately dropping the suit after the Scouts agreed to recognize Logan's merit badges and to help the teen earn his Eagle Award. Harry Potter fans can geek out about this.
6 actors from the Harry Potter franchise will reprise their roles for the upcoming mobile game Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. Sir Michael Gambon making a comeback as Professor Dumbledore, Dame Maggie Smith as Professor McGonagall, and Warwick Davis as Professor Flitwick. Also returning Sally Mortimer, Gemma Jones, and Zoe Wanamaker as Madam Hooch. The mobile adventure will let players become students at the Wizarding School on a quest to learn spells.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, creator, is telling The Guardian this is a step closer to giving fans their own Hogwarts experience. It launches April 25th. Tiger Woods, in his first Masters tournament in 3 years, finishes 1 over par after the opening round at Augusta, 5 strokes behind the current leader, Tony Finau. In New York, Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for upcycle-themed games, chances to win prizes from McDonald's of Guam, Pitbull Empire, and Sylvan Learning Center, and a special performance from Body Arts Dance Studio. Plus, kids can enjoy rides on the Caterpillar, Power Wheels, and rock wall climbing, courtesy of Pit Shop. Don't forget to stop by the Guam Girl Scouts booth to learn how you can make a cleaner, greener effort in your community. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, Jams Media Productions, and The Point.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There are so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth, from vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams. We're all concerned with protecting our world's water, but none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, opened in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. PHC Corporation, a subcontractor for a major military construction project on Andersen Air Force Base, got approval yesterday from U.S. Immigration for another 171 more H-2B visas for skilled foreign workers. That raises the total approvals to 333 H-2Bs for the company in the past week. PHC is the first Guam employer in more than 2 years to receive full approval of all of its H-2B visa petitions. It represents a major reversal of the Immigration Service's near 100% denial of H-2B visas since November of 2015. PHC is a subcontractor for Cortec International in Cortec's construction of 2 hangars at Andersen. That's a $200 million project. The Guam Daily Post is an affiliate of Cortec. More than a dozen village streets may undergo repairs soon. Governor Eddie Calvo yesterday approving the road repair contract between the Department of Public Works and Hawaiian Rock Products. DPW Director Glenn Leon Guerrero said he hopes repairs will be completed in 19 village streets by the end of this summer. The project is being funded using $1.8 million from the Territorial Highway Fund, part of DPW's budget, and about $2 million approved by the governor through a federal grant. First 5 roads to be paved will be in the Gil Breeze subdivision in Jigo, Santati Lane in Piti, Biang Street in Mongmong Todo Maiti, Pale Kirin Hickey Drive in Sinahanya, and Erskine Drive in Agate. Surface work for Gil Breeze has already begun. We'll have more news after this.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Kim Anderson of Chalanpago, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi Itunomo. Protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
News time at the point is 11 minutes past 7 a.m. Department of Corrections officers discovering a package thrown into the prison compound in Manila yesterday behind a dome housing unit during a perimeter check. DOC Deputy Director Kate Baltazar confirmed that the package contained 8 round containers of chewing tobacco and a small resealable bag which tested presumptive positive for methamphetamine. Baltazar said that an inmate suspected to be the recipient of the package was identified and has been questioned. The seizure is the latest in the prison's ongoing contraband interdiction campaign dubbed Operation Green Vigilance, which was launched last year in the wake of a series of contraband cases inside the prison, which led to the arrest of inmates as well as prison guards. In Superior Court yesterday, 2 men were charged with stealing more than $12,000 worth of canned corned beef and mackerel from their employer. The owner of the 7-day supermarket in Harmon called police after conducting an inventory and finding 150 cases of canned meats and other goods missing. According to court records, a warehouse employee alleged that they witnessed the warehouse manager, Edwin Ocampo, and former employee Jacinto Namio take the canned goods. The magistrate report states that Ocampo admitted he gave Namio 12 cases of canned goods but denied stealing anything more. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Let me see what I can scare up for you on the weather-wise and take a look at the weather maps while we're doing it because I can. A weak trough located between Guam and Chuuk is generating scattered showers and a few thunderstorms to the south of the island. There is a possibility that these scattered showers and a few of the thunderstorms could approach Guam late today and tomorrow. But once the trough moves on, the dry weather pattern is expected to continue into the next week. High-risk rip currents through late tonight along north and east-facing reefs. High surf advisory in effect until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning on north-facing reefs. The forecast for today, mostly cloudy, scattered showers with isolated thunderstorms. Showers activity decreasing through the weekend. East winds up to about 20 miles an hour during the day, 10 to 15 miles an hour at night. Daytime high is 88, overnight lows 77. Sunset tonight at 6:33. Studio time on the point is 7:12.
When the power goes out on Guam, the little things can become surprisingly big. Small comforts are often the things we miss most during a power outage. That is why Kohler built the fastest responding generator sets in the industry. Whether you are at home or away, a residential Kohler generator will enable you and your family to live life without interruption. Kohler gas, LPG, and diesel power systems are available from Morrico Equipment, LLC on Epal Road. Call 649-1946. That's 649-1946. Don't forget to click on to MorricoEquipment.com.
I won't forget to click on that. I remind myself about that every day when I remind myself that this program is brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Portions of the program also brought to you by Security Title, providing solutions for the most complex real estate transactions.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Luis Muña on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
The Ray Gibson Show. your new News Talk headquarters.
Well, I'm so glad that you're there. Wait, no, I gotta say that I'm here and I'm glad you're there. A lot of other entertainment and information opportunities in the morning, but right now you're listening and watching me on The Point. I just want to say thanks very much. Appreciate it. It's good to have you along for whatever the morning ride is going to be. My morning ride was disrupted there, and I have to apologize. I had the camera on Kevin, on me, when it should have been on Kevin while I was doing it. No, you know why? I was distracted. You know what the shiny is now? What? Oh, we have a sound effect for when I'm distracted, when there's a shiny? Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
I've been waiting for a week to play that.
So the shiny this morning, I was checking my Twitter, because Tumwater. I was checking my Twitter. Actually, when I say Twitter, you should use that one too. I'm checking my Twitter. Perfect. And John Fernandez, who I follow, he's got their people. This is the pecking order on Twitter in terms of who's got the gas on social media. So you got like Pia Mia, and then you got John Fernandez, and then you got me. I think in that order. So a ton of people follow John, and so John was distracted. No education work has gotten done on the island because he got distracted by hashtag Make a Band Chamorro, right? You understand the concept?
No, not at all.
So you take a band name, and then you mess around with it. You edit it so that it sounds Chamorro.
Oh, okay.
Right? So this is going to go over weird because I got two white guys in the studio, so you might not get all of the references here.
I'm not even from here.
I'm going to make, but it's hilarious. So we have instead of boys to men, there's boys to nen. You get it? What nanny girl? Tribe. There's a band called Tribe called Quest, right?
Right.
Right. So they make the band Chamorro by calling it Tribe Called Quest Card. The band called.
Ooh, that's not funny.
Then there's a band called Kings of Leon. They changed that one to Kings of Leon Guerrero. There's Fallout Boboy. You get.
Well, that one I get.
That's funny to me. Black-eyed Mungo Beans. Not Lincoln Park. It's Lincoln Parr. My guys. And this one here that doesn't need too much by way of changing or explanation, Lady Gaga. And there you have it. It's beautiful. I want to thank you very much, John Fernandez, for turning me on to it. That was just, that was not necessarily the cream of the crop. Those were the ones that I was able to get to in a short amount of time. Make a band, hashtag Make a Band Chamorro. You're gonna hit that, and you're gonna be there all day long. Just an FYI. 7:17. Hey, you know what we got to do right now? Now that I'm done with the shiny and the check my Twitter, it's time to take a look at what's happening in the markets. A lady over on Fox, you heard her just a few minutes ago talking about, hey, look, happy days are here again. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 240.92 points. 24,505 is where they closed up today. The NASDAQ at 7,076. They're up by 34 points in the S&P 500. Closes green, 2662, 18 points higher than where it was when they started. The Nikkei is going to start their day at about 21,645, closed up 325 points. So this is what's happening. There's nothing wrong with these companies. The fundamentals on all of these equities that we've got out there are still solid.
Right.
We're seeing the market go up and down because of external force field issues, right?
It's all speculation.
The whole Trump thing and the tariffs and the potential trade war and all of those. I think it's got a lot of people into the jitters. So a couple of days ago, we saw the markets just absolutely crash, down by what, 4.5 points?
That's right.
Percent. And so here's what the smarter guys are looking at that, saying there's nothing wrong with these companies. If they want they're going to sell them for this low, then I'm going to buy them for this low. And I think that's why the market is beginning to surge back up here. What are we doing on currencies? 107 yen to the dollar? Really? That makes the Asahi taste a little bit better. Doesn't make your Toyota drive a little bit smoother when we've got it at 107. Keep moving up there, guys. On the other hand, the criticism will be you can't get the yen up too high against the greenback. You want it up around 110, 120 or something like that, because it makes the goods that the tourists from Japan buy on Guam that much more expensive, making us a more expensive destination. So grain of salt, all of that stuff. West Texas trading at $63.73. Don't see a whole lot of change in the price of tapas either this morning, $7.19. So that's what happened on the markets. It's time now for Jerry Roberts to bring you the extra point.
Is extraordinary success simply a matter of intellect or talent or luck or divine intervention? I'm Jerry Roberts. We look at ordinary versus extraordinary next on The Extra Point. I was reading a commentary that considered General Colin Powell, Walt Disney, and Michael Jordan, and the fact none of them gave any indication of greatness in their earlier years. These three powerful forces in politics and statesmanship, motion pictures and building family entertainment venues, and professional sports all looked pretty much average to anyone who may have bothered to look. Powell was, at best, a C student. Disney was fired from his first job for perceived lack of creativity. Jordan didn't make his high school varsity team the first time he tried out. So how did these three people go from run-of-the-mill to top of the line? These three legendary figures did not want to succeed. They chose to succeed. Day after day, year after year, they made the choices that brought them progress and closer to their goals. They multiplied what God-given talents they had by a heaping helping of grit, G-R-I-T, guts, resilience, initiative, tenacity. Through unbridled perseverance, unquenchable determination, coming up with new ways to do old things, and a sheer refusal to be held back by anything, they plowed forward. Today, the media fawns over celebrities in entertainment, sports, and business, especially those who burst onto the scene seemingly out of nowhere and become instant stars. The truth is, most of those successful people struggled in obscurity for years before there was any reason for someone to notice. They paid the price in sweat and long hours. Powell served 2 tours with the Army in Vietnam and fought his way up the ranks, taking on tough assignments, often in high-stakes situations. Disney had failure after failure, bankruptcy included, and was urged to quit many times. Then he introduced Mickey Mouse. Movies followed, theme parks, and more. Jordan eventually starred at the University of North Carolina. Then, joining the Chicago Bulls in the NBA, he unleashed an incredible work ethic and desire to win, developing into the sport's most powerful force during a time when basketball was a rougher and more physically demanding game. Now the good news. Everyone has grit built in. The only question is whether you decide to fire it up and use it. And anyone can choose to succeed. What's your choice today? That's The Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Dude, Mickey Mouse was my idea. Hell, Walt Disney stole it. That's how he got to be so good. Zuckerberg, Facebook, all of that. Interesting extra point here. Again, if you want copies of that, we got them on text, because it's the old way. So you go on the new way to GuamTraining.com and grab your copies. I meant to talk about Facebook and probably get around to doing that on the other side of these.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Right now, traffic, and right now looks like I've got traffic building at the intersection at 1 and 9. You might know that as the front gate to Anderson. Traffic building in both directions. A little further south than that. Once you get around Perez Acres and through that area, we're going to see some back and forth on those in both of the northbound and southbound lanes. Southbound traffic into Marine Corps Drive, into the southern and central portions of the island through Dededo. You'll find the snags in all the usual places over at Waisang Song. Looking forward to begin snagging zigzagging southbound on Marine Corps Drive over at the intersection of 1 and 3. Also seeing a line of traffic build from the 8, 10, and 16 intersection, not towards it, but away from it on Route 8. I was looking to see if there's anything happening down in the central part of Agana, and it doesn't look like there's anything. It's 7:23 in the morning. Traffic beginning to build. It's going to be Friday traffic, so if you can hit the road early, that would be pretty good advice. It's 7:24 on The Point.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain Barbecue, fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain Barbecue.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
It just keeps getting worse for Facebook, and I don't know what to do about that, because there's so much of my personal and professional life that's wrapped up in Facebook. I don't want to leave. I just presume that whatever the entertainment and messaging habits of a 55-year-old Caucasian is something that they're making money on somewhere, and it really doesn't. I haven't found any place where it hurts me. The only thing I bristle at when I'm on Facebook is when people send me what is it? The spammy stuff in the messenger. I don't like that. And the idea that Messenger wants to be my sole communications device. It doesn't want me to use the text capability that's built into my phone. It wants to take that over, and I don't want it to. I need that text messaging and SMS messaging to be separate from what I do on Facebook, but they just don't get it. But there's a story this morning. Facebook sent a doctor on a secret mission to ask hospitals to share patient data. The idea was to build profiles of people that included their medical conditions, information that health systems have, as well as social and economic factors that they would then glean from Facebook. So it's like Facebook would I don't know, it sounds like they'd want to get into the business of selling zit cream or, AIDS medicine or cancer cures or all of that.
But that's inherently against the law.
There is HIPAA. Yes, you're not supposed to do that. And this is as recently as last month they had been doing this. And they've just gotten another sting. Facebook said Wednesday that most of its 2 billion users likely have had their personal information scraped by outsiders without their explicit permission. And
if you didn't want it up there, you shouldn't have put it on Facebook.
Yeah, so here's that lie on Facebook. Just lie. In fact, get a picture of somebody and make that your profile picture. It didn't even have to be the right gender. Just that. Just change it out and make people confused about whatever you see there. There was somebody was floating around with one of these. Hey, let's have a fun time quiz on Facebook. Do you remember the name of your first puppy? Who was your first grade teacher?
Oh yeah.
What's your mother's maiden name? What are the middle digits of your social security number will tell me whether you're happy or sad. The first 4 digits of your social security number will give you your Avengers secret agent name. They do all of this stuff on the internet, and then we don't understand how it is that we are all subject now to privacy violations and identity theft, because there's people out there that are trolling you on social media. I'm not one of them. Just saying. But it's out there and it happens. The other thing that's very interesting is the KFC commercial.
Yes,
Reba. That's Reba McEntire.
That's Reba
right?
McEntire. Yeah. Have you seen the video for it?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I thought that was Dolly.
No,
that's
Dolly
Reba.
Parton.
They all run together in your head, don't they?
No, that was Dolly Parton.
Country singer chicks. No, I think it's Reba.
And the video for it is a little creepy.
Is it?
Yeah, a little creepy.
That reminds me, we're going to be interviewing the colonel, the guy colonel, in a little bit. But they're making a big deal in the commercial about KFC's female colonel. Mm-hmm. And you know who is up to the same thing? Steven Spielberg says the next Indiana Jones could be a woman. Really?
We already did that with Tomb Raider.
Exactly. That's. I was looking at maybe somebody needs to show him the video game and the 2 or 3, 4 movies now, a couple of them with Angelina Jolie when she was a knockout.
Lara Croft, the character, was crazy. I mean, what, in the 90s, the late 90s, early
sure.
2000s? I mean, the whole concept of Lara
I'm a
Croft
huge
went
fan.
off the charts.
I buy the games. I watch the movies.
Yeah.
And so I'm going, Lara Croft. I've always said that Lara Croft is the female Indiana Jones. And so it's interesting now that the guy that owns the franchise for Indiana Jones says, what we can do is we'll introduce a female version of Indiana Jones. And instead of it being Indiana Jones, we'd change it to Indiana Joan.
Yeah. I think Spielberg could come up with something.
None of us like the idea.
Yeah.
This is the problem with Hollywood. We need new ideas, not old ideas. And if you're tired of the old busted ideas that you see on Hollywood, go to Hulu, go to Netflix, and start watching movies with subtitles, primarily from China and Japan.
What's happened to
And
the
Korea.
originality in our media? I mean, TV right now is littered with rehashes from old shows. I mean,
Well, Roseanne's
a
back.
perfect example.
Yeah.
But there are others as well. There are no fresh ideas out there right now.
Well,
it seems like no one can come up with
Everybody's
one.
gone to YouTube.
Yeah, remember that all of the stories were told by Shakespeare. Every story that we see in television, every story we see in the movies are basically Shakespeare that's been adapted. I'm waiting for an English literature teacher to call in and say, stop saying things like that.
Maybe.
It's 7:30 in the morning already, and time for another look at headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time at the point is 31 minutes past 7 a.m. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Guam fire personnel recovering the body of a woman last night from the shoreline beneath the Two Lovers Point area. Guam Fire spokeswoman Charika Chargalov says the woman either jumped or fell from the cliff line above. The incident occurred about 6:30 yesterday evening. The body was recovered about 9 p.m. and transported to GMH. Chargalov said the incident is under investigation. Budget concerns raised yesterday during a meeting of the Judicial Council as a result of the current 10% cut in its fiscal year 2018 budget. This fiscal year, the judiciary has been unable to fill 24 positions. A further $1.2 million reduction in the judiciary's budget next year could threaten the loss of 30 additional positions, although it was suggested that a 36-hour work week could make up for the drop in funding by cutting salaries without eliminating jobs. No final decisions were made at the Judicial Council meeting yesterday on implementing any cost-saving measures. Judiciary spokesman Sean Gumatautau says the fiscal 2019 budget and budget actions in the current fiscal year remain under review pending approval by the Judicial Council. He said the judiciary's proposed fiscal 2019 budget would be presented on May 1st. Island mayors can now add public nuisances relative to stray dogs, rodents, roosters, chickens, and garbage to their list of responsibilities as the Department of Public Health and Social Services Division of Environmental Health relinquishes that responsibility. Public Health Acting Director Leo Casil said the move comes as the agency is trying to streamline operations and focus on other mandates that it's required to fulfill. By giving village sanitation complaints to mayors, Casil believes his agency will have more time to handle inspections. He said Public Law 1427 empowers the mayors to conduct the removal of public nuisances and debris and issue warnings, but Mayor's Council of Guam President Paul McDonald disagrees. The Agana Heights mayor says neither he nor his fellow mayors have any authority to issue citations or fines. If mayors did issue citations, McDonald said they wouldn't hold water in court. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
iConnect time in the studios. It's 7:33 in the morning. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
Rain. It's nature's way of cleansing the earth. Yet by the time that rainwater makes its way to your home, it may not be exactly the same as nature created it. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve the quality of the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home, so you can be sure your water is clear, clean, and fresh, just as nature intended it to be. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There's so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
And just looking over the maps here, still ugly on the way up to the main gate of Anderson Air Force Base, and watch for some stop and go between there, southern parts of Gigo, into the rest of Dededo, and once you get to the intersection at Route 1 and Route 3, should be okay. Route 3 getting onto Marine Corps Drive, a little bit tricky there right now, but after that should be smooth sailing into the downtown and upper Tamuning area. Route 4 and Route 10, looks like there's a line of traffic trying to get out of 10 onto Route 4. Don't see too much building up over by the schools, and that's a good thing. Still at the intersection of 8, 10, and 16, southbound on Route 8 towards Tiedzin is going to give you a little bit of a problem as traffic begins to build there. 734, and that's what's happening on your roadways, as reported here on The Point.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Louise Muña on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the Point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
It's 7:35. This is the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. 888-8255. That's 888-8255. Make the telephone call. Say hello. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what you're thinking about. You can do it that way. RayGibsonShow@gmail.com. If you want to send me an email, I get those all the time, and most of the time, the information in those emails are things like, hey, I got a big party coming up on April the 20th. Can you mention it on the radio? Sure. Habitat for Humanity's Quiz Night, April 20th at the Sheraton. It's a team event trivia challenge that benefits the Habitat for Humanity. $300 for a team of 6 and a great Sheraton dinner. Prize for the top team is $600 in actual American money, and that's provided by Stay Well Insurance. We've got prizes for all of the teams, and like I said, cash prize $600 in first place. But then we have other prizes, and we can go from that. We've got dog gym memberships and toilet paper. That's actually one of the most sought-after things, is that there'll be like 6 big things of toilet paper, right? And the teams will play essentially to get that. Prizes for everybody. Top raffle prize, round-trip ticket to Asia from United. And if you pay by the 14th, you'll be entered into a special drawing that'll get you 6 lunches over at the Sheraton. It's the early bird drawing. It's one of the first things that I do once I get in there, and the table is all blessed. I am your quiz master, and I'll be happy to do that for you. So I was looking at the online on the Facebooks there. Wanted to say good morning to Robert Lloyd, and Paris Blas is back on. James Tillman asked, why can't they come up with some authentic stories? And what I think it is, let's start talking about Hollywood and television and the movies and all of that is because they live in this, it's basically an echo chamber. There's very, very little new ideas that go in there and fit into that mold. That's why we see a whole lot of retreads and prequels and sequels and all of that kind of thing, right?
I don't think anybody's watching anymore. I mean, the viewership is down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's everywhere.
Right. Everybody's going to YouTube and doing their own thing.
Because you never know what you're
Amazon.
going to find there. You never know what you're going to find in Amazon Prime. I mean, my father almost exclusively with a ton of these BBC shows that are out there. And as I said, for me, real entertainment seems to be coming from Asia, Japan, Korea, China. has a blossoming film industry right now, and they've got billions of people. And what's a blockbuster in China if everybody goes and watches the movie? So I'll give you the name. I'll give you the name of it, and you'll watch it and go, that ain't great. But in comparison with everything that we've got coming out of Hollywood, it's also not terrible. Chronicles of the Ghost Tribe. And there's
cool name, yeah.
Yeah, Chronicles of the Ghost Tribe. There's I don't know. It's hard for me to describe. There's a little bit of communism in there, and there's Yetis, and there's subterranean caves, and there's sword fighting and big monsters, and it's it's just an interesting program to watch. So find that, and maybe that will get you into the habit of watching some other things that you would normally pass by. Charlie Laron, good morning. Good to see you there. I see Deanna Palmer, Mandy Pahea, Ruben Mortera. There's Bobby Shringi. Ed Antolon and Karen is watching the program this morning. Carlos Spangalinen. Greg Massey from over at the Department of Labor, we may hear from at some point. I see Jennifer Ross, who is hearing the program. I make a big deal about that because she still does the Ross hearing aids things. Eunice Mandiola, Frank Tejito. Who am I missing? Oh, my God. Ray Gibson is on that chat, too. That's a fun place to go, and oftentimes some interesting discussions from among the people that are in the chat. We make the Facebook Live here on the television, and after 10 o'clock in the morning, we take the entire program and upload that to YouTube. So if I am particularly good at something this morning, or I've got a guest that is particularly interesting, you'll be able to go back. You just got to remember about what time it was, and you just do the thing on the YouTube. You know how to scroll, and there's a time and a date hack so you can see where you are on the clock. 7:40 in the morning, and a few other items on the table of contents that I wanted to get to. As I said, might hear from Greg Massey this morning from the Department of Labor. Good news that seems to be coming out of the USCIS as we are reporting now. 333 is the number of
total, yeah.
Visa waivers, visa applications, H-2 applications that have been approved at the USCIS. So
first time in years that all the applications have been approved from an employer.
So the tiers, though, that we were talking about, these 333 are for NDAA construction projects, defense projects on the base.
Right. The hangars up at Anderson.
Okay. And then, so the second one that we're going to be looking for is applications that were made by the plaintiffs in the suit that was heard over at the district court.
The other shoe needs to drop.
And then the third one is, now that a class has been approved and virtually all contractors, et cetera, can become members of this class, they need to start filling out the applications for their Visa H-2B employees.
It looks hopeful.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. And so that means that there are less pressure to get things done. Of course, the big question, like Nick Delgado asking the question, does Eddie now support the buildup? Now that we're starting to get these visas approved, we see the applications getting approved, is Eddie of a better mind of this military buildup than he was before? And I read the whole article, and I couldn't tell. No, he's still not thrilled about it. We still got the other net negative things, the other four pillars that they've got to live up to. Hey, Vince, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ray. How are you?
Never better. I know this, Vince. Dr. Akimoto.
Yes, sir. But right now, I'm Fisherman Akimoto. I'm sitting here next to the guys down here in East Agania Bay waiting for the Manyaha to come in.
Oh.
There's a lot of guys down here.
Yeah, well, I mean, who doesn't like Manyaha in any of its forms?
It's a happy group of guys, and you can smell it in the air. The ocean has that smell of fish, and so I think it's going to be a good day for Manyaha.
Well, I'm glad there's a doctor down there, because the last time I was at the Paseo area, the waves were all the way up. I don't know that I'd venture out into that.
Yeah, we're right in the enclosed part of the bay, because I think they see the fish kind of right around the reef. There's this big cloud of fish. Anyway, so it's a good day for fishermen, but the reason I'm calling is I heard Greg Massey might be coming in.
No, I said we might be hearing from him. I haven't made any invitations, and other than to just say that there's some labor, there's some breaks on the H-2s that we're starting to feel. It's far less than what we need. We're going to need up in a couple of thousand guys come out here for all of the construction, military, and civilian. And you got big civilian project next door. The old Jack Peters has got some work being done on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on. I think they still need to rebuild Simon Sanchez. The hospital's proposing about $30 million in capital improvement projects with its upcoming $200 million project. I think there's just the airport is behind schedule because I guess they need more workers. And then our friends from Pacific Rim are trying to entice 2,000 people to go down to Saipan and build a casino. So, with all this work and it looks like Greg's been to Chamber of Commerce or Kiwanis or Rotary Club. He's been all over the news. The main reason I wanted to just make sure he's coming in is because apparently he's a really good karaoke singer, and if you needed somebody to sing, I don't know, your opening theme
for the Friday show, yeah.
He's apparently a really, really good singer, so you might want to ask him.
What song have you heard this guy sing? What should we?
There's an album that Gov Guam put out a couple of years ago, and I honestly, I think it's My Way is the one that he sang, but you can ask him for sure. Yeah, that'll be like a challenge, right? Let's see if he calls in, because now he's going to sing My Way.
Yeah, I'm not going to make him sing the song when he gets on the radio. Never mind the H-2Bs. Never mind any of that Department of Labor stuff here. The important thing now is we need to hear your rendition of My Way. I remember they've done that before. I remember we did DPW had a big Saluda party a few years ago, and they actually made a CD. They commissioned the late great Frank Bokungo to write a whole bunch of songs for him, and it is, I swear to God, one of my favorite Chamorro language CDs in my collection.
And a great use of government Guam time and money. But hey, Ray, the real reason.
No, he had money back then. It was Joe Atta's time, I think.
Yeah, right. 5440. But let me just tell you the real reason for my call, because I'm with the governor on this particular issue of not supporting the buildup, but for maybe a different reason than him. Apparently, he's upset that we can't import more people from the Philippines or Vietnam or something to come and participate in our great economic buildup. But doesn't that mean we'd be sending a lot of money back to Vietnam and Philippines? And apparently our government's broke, and we're blaming Donald Trump, who, by the way, doesn't want to send any United States money overseas. He's now put up all these trade blocks against China, and it would seem like our Republican governor is doing the quite opposite to what our Republican president is trying to do. And I think in this case, federal law supersedes local law. We have had, over the past 4 years, not that much Maniahak, but a lot of seniors graduating from our high schools, including Simon Sanchez, which, by the way, is in a state of disrepair that breaks everybody's heart. But 4,000 seniors, men and women, 18 years old and above, have graduated from our schools. More than half of them have stayed on island. So that means 2,000 pretty educated kids are wandering the streets of Guam and all trying to get jobs at Chuck E. Cheese. But there's only so much Chuck E. Cheese can do. But Mr. Massey, I think as the head of the Guam Department of Labor, shouldn't be worried about 333 guys coming from off island to work. I mean, shouldn't he be worried about employing our 2,000 very well-educated kids?
Oh, and they've got plenty of programs for that, and part of that is Greg, and they've got Dr. Sam Abini that is running a few things over there as well. So I mean, it's worth a conversation. But well, hold on a second, because I've had this conversation with a lot of the guys in the contracting business, and they want to hire local. You talk to Black Construction, virtually everybody at Black Construction is a local hire. It's a local somebody that is plugged in and working in the community. But there are not enough of those guys, and those 4,000 kids that were hold on, Vince. Those 4,000 kids that we are graduating don't want to work outside. They don't want to work in the sun. They don't want to lift big bales of concrete and bend rebar. They want to work inside.
Have you watched HGTV?
Have I watched HGTV? It's a big difference between doing a makeover on a house than doing this every single day. You go and hang out over at the construction for the new PHR hotel in Tumon, in between the Nico and the Okura, and count the number of local guys that go in there. And it's small. It's whoever they've got working there, and the rest all Micronesian guys.
Again, you're not telling this too well, so the advertising's going to have to improve. These kids want to work, and they're outside every day peddling whatever they're peddling. And Panda Express apparently pays more than Black Construction does for some of these guys to do meaningful work. I mean, let's be real. Some of the wages that they're throwing out there for carpenters and plumbers is well, the guys on HGTV would say that they're not American wages. So let's let Greg sing my way, but then if you could help Guam do it our way and have American wages for American work on American soil, and quit worrying about bringing in all these off-island guys. I mean, it seems like it's just a little bit too much ado at this point about something that we should have taken care of 7 years ago when the buildup got stalled. And I know that's whining after the milk has already been spilled, but if I could be more constructive, I don't want to ruin our Friday, I guess, informalities. And the Maniac is indeed running. You guys were discussing the other day about fun jobs like dolphin watching, and the dolphin tour guy and the scuba instructors. I mean, those are all great jobs that would require relatively little training and would involve maybe some interaction with actual locals, with actual tourists. But the other job would be taxi drivers. I mean, if you say you can't find too many local people on construction sites, I can't find any local people driving taxi cabs, and not very many of them under the age of 65. Apparently, taxi driving around Guam is a pretty lucrative business.
Sure.
It's exclusively, I guess, dominated by people that don't speak very good English.
And find out why. Start asking these kids, why don't you want to be a taxi driver? Why don't you want to be a construction guy? Why don't you want to be the guy on the dolphin watch?
I think this is the question that we have to ask Dr. Sam Mabini, because for the last 8 years, the Department of Labor has had the opportunity to correct some of these problems. And now, in 2018, when the buildup is indeed upon us, we're still trying to import 4,000 off-island workers.
I would prefer that we all got local guys, and I agree with you on the wages part. I look over some of these wages that are advertised for these positions, and frankly, there are a bunch of guys that I know personally that, you know what, I'm not going to get off my duff and go and apply for this job. Number one, they don't want me, and number two, that I can sit at the house and have that money put into that exact amount, put into my Quest card every month, and I don't need to do anything.
Ray,
What?
Ray, that's a low blow. 66,000 people on Guam rely on that Quest card for their sustenance.
And all of the retailers and the wholesalers that are relying on those customers to come in once a month with their Quest card loaded with free federal dollars on it. But I'm just telling you that is the new de facto minimum wage. Is about, what is it, $13, $14 an hour? At the higher end for this. There are people that are capable of working that are not working. Either they don't like the wages, they don't want to work for the man, or whatever.
And so that's the corruption in this economy, where it's more lucrative to be poor and do nothing than it is to go and work outside and help build Guam and take advantage of apparently this economic boom. Meanwhile, we do have employers who need workers, and whether they're scrupulous or not, don't have time to wait for people to get trained. So if you could maybe get Mr. Greg Massey on the air, because I think he really has a great voice, and Dr. Sam Mabini, because I do think they need to help our governor be able to support this buildup, and apparently right now he's still kind of stuck in limbo land.
All right. Well, Greg says two things. He says, Vince, my singing days are done. And the second thing he said on the chat is Vince has a narrow view on this, not going to argue with him.
Oh, come on, Greg. We have to argue. All right, man. Have a great day.
I will.
You know what? I see Greg out there on the reef. That's why he's not going to argue.
You better look. Here's the now. This is important. Now this is the important part. So if you're going to be down there catching maniahak, I need you to bring some. But I need you to fry it for me. Could you just have Melissa?
Okay, have her do all the work. We'll make some hot rice for you too. There,
and yes, hot rice would be good. I'll talk to you later, brother. Yes.
Bye.
What an interesting. There's a lot to that, and you know it. You know that's the deal. I'm one of the guys, and somebody will say just a stubborn old conservative, and so I'm one of the guys. Is if you can work, if you are capable of working, if there is nothing physically or mentally wrong with you, then and you've had a rough patch. And we all go through rough patches around here. I get it. And that's what these programs are for. But there's far too many people that are living on them. And it seems to me that there's supposed to be a button somewhere that you can push that says that if you're going to continue to be on welfare, you have to prove that you went looking for a job and could not find a job. And you need to be able to, at some point, wean yourself off of that system. But we've got people that have turned that into a career. As I said, you got the guys in Japan they're called comfortably poor is what they call them there. 7:53. Ron's on the line. Good morning, Ron.
Hello.
How you doing there?
Hi. Is this Ray?
Yes, this is Ray. Is this Ron?
Yeah.
Hi.
My. Let me shut this because.
Yeah, no, you're on the air. It's all right.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say because I'm actually walking into a meeting. I was listening to Vince. Vince is my doctor, by the way, and a great guy. I have all the respect in the world for him. But I think it's very important to point out that we have 5,000 permanent jobs on Guam in the construction industry for locals. It's a lot of people that are employed full time. The Trades Academy and everybody tries to train everybody that wants to work. There are not enough local kids, men and women, to go around to fill the needs. It is so basic and so simple. I have 3 projects in downtown right now that I cannot do because we don't have enough workers. It's just, to say that we don't need workers is almost silly, is all I'm saying.
And I think you make the adequate point. The contractors want to hire local. And we're doing and have been doing everything that is possible between GCC and the Trades Academy, et cetera, over all of these years to try to get people that are trained up. But it's hard to get people motivated to do something like that when you realize, as we pointed out, sometimes this is hot, sweaty, outside, real pain in the duff work. And when it's easier sometimes, depending on who you know or what you know, to go get yourself lined up for a LTE job in the government of Guam or someplace like that, where we get to work inside and I get a badge and somebody calls me sir every day. That's a big deal. Let's do that instead of working outside in the hot sun.
It's also on wages. I think Black Construction is going to call you and be very angry. These guys pay federal wages on every job they do on the base and the other jobs they do. I hired a guy Monday, $18 an hour. This is a bad wage. $18 an hour with medical, with. I got one guy. Black Construction pays well. They have great benefits.
Oh, I never said that Black Construction did not pay well.
Every other construction company. Well, I don't want to say that.
No, well, yeah, but for clarity, because I don't want Black calling up and giving me a hard time on. So I did not say that Black Construction did not pay well. I said some of the wages that I have seen advertised for these construction positions are low and low enough so that they aren't worth some of these guys that have the skills to get off their duff if that's what they're already getting for doing nothing from the Fed.
In Saipan, they're offering even more in Saipan to try and finish that hotel. And, of course, they can't find any workers either.
Right. So Pacific Rim came down to Guam.
Yeah. At any rate, I'm going into a meeting. I just want to say I felt it's just not fair. We work so hard to have local people in our crews and part of our companies and whatnot, and there's not enough to go around. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's just it. There's not enough to go around.
No, as I've said, and I hope my disagreement on that point was clear. There's guys out there in the construction companies want to hire local, but there's just a bunch of guys that aren't lining up for the ads, lining up for the positions for whatever reason. Hey, good luck with the meeting, Ron. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Okay.
All right, buddy. 7:57 and change. This is Ray Gibson Show on The Point. And chime in from wherever you are, 888-8255. We'll finish the conversation up here and maybe get back to it if I think there's got some legs on it. But you know, Vince made his point, and there are other sides to this angle on this story, and maybe it might be worth getting Greg and Dr. Mabini in here. We just touched base with her a little bit when we did the broadcast from the industry forum. We just touched base a little bit with some of the things that they were doing, and a whole lot of outreach that we're not paying for. So a lot of this is federal backed, right? A lot of outreach that they're trying to do to get guys to start lining up for these jobs. But you can't even lead that horse to water sometimes. You've got to find ways, different ways to motivate them. I'd like to see all of those jobs, $18, $20, $21 with benefits. That would be awesome, but not all of the rates are being advertised that low. We're closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning in the program. And if you want something else to get riled about, I saw this and I thought, well, this is going to be an interesting go-around. I didn't realize it was time for it already, but apparently it is. The RFP for health insurance for GovGuam is out. And that is the signal for my rant to insist that a taxpayer advocate sits on the panel so the taxpayers don't get soaked on the health insurance deal that GovGuam is going to negotiate for its employees and retirees. We'll conversate on that as well. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on KUSG. Hagutnya. We got Fox News Live coming up, and on the other side of that, the amazing Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post with a whole potpourri of stories to keep you occupied all day long. That's ahead right here.
He says he didn't know. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump responding to a question about a payment to an adult film star who claims they had an affair. Fox's Jared Halpern has more live in D.C.
Now, the president says he was not aware of a $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. President Trump was asked about that payment when he popped into the reporter's cabin on Air Force One, telling reporters he doesn't know where his attorney, Michael Cohen, got the money. Daniels claims the payment was made as part of a non-disclosure agreement made to keep her quiet about a one-night affair she had with the president more than a decade ago. Lisa.
Jared, also on Air Force One, the president also talked about the plan to deploy the National Guard to the border, saying he wants to send between 2,000 and 4,000 troops. Earlier, the president talked about his plan to build a border wall.
We're going to have our wall, and we're going to get it very strongly. The military is going to be building some of it, but we're going to have very strong borders, and we have to change our laws, and we're working on doing that.
The president speaking in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Former President Bush sent about 6,400 members of the National Guard to the border between 2006 and 2008. The body of a CDC worker missing for over a month is found.
A body pulled from Atlanta's Chattahoochee River is that of missing CDC employee and U.S. Public Health Service officer Timothy Cunningham, first reported missing 6 weeks ago.
We have no indications to this point that there is any foul play.
Major Michael O'Connor of Atlanta's Police Department. The investigation as to how he died is underway. Cunningham was a Harvard-educated epidemiologist. The body was spotted by a group of people fishing along the riverbank.
Fox's Evan Brown. Investors around the world more optimistic that a trade war with China will resolve without too much damage. The Dow ending the day up to 40. The Nasdaq gained 34. The S&P gained make that 18 points. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Triple J says yes. Zero down? Yes. 1.9% financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. No payments for 90 days? Yes. We'll have you saying yes, too, to these amazing deals. Like our big boy truck, the Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck. Or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck. Or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul. Both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
Continued denials from Russia as the UN Security Council meets to discuss the poisoning of a Russian spy and his daughter in Great Britain. Fox's Steve Rappaport has more live.
Lisa, in a lengthy, scathing statement, Russia's ambassador put the British government on notice.
Once the dust settles, they will be held responsible for their words. And yet London
London started poisoning our relations with other countries.
Vasily Nebezia, through a translator, suggesting other countries are behind the attack. U.S. Ambassador Kelly Currie dismissing that allegation.
Russia puts forward a series of conspiracy theories in an attempt to shift blame.
Britain, the U.S., and many other Western nations expelling more than 150 Russian diplomats in a show of solidarity. Lisa?
Steve, a woman suing the Mormon Church saying she was raped by a former leader in the 1980s, and she says she's seeking justice and wants the church to change how it handles sexual abuse reporting. McKenna Denson claims she was raped by Joseph Bishop in Provo, Utah in 1984. He denies the allegations. After some deadly crashes, the nation's largest tire maker under scrutiny.
The government's looking into whether Goodyear motorhome tires caused crashes that killed or injured 95 people over 2 decades. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration last year began investigating whether its G159 tires are unsafe. This after a judge ordered the release of data sealed under court orders and settlement agreements. The lawsuits alleging the tires were designed for delivery trucks and not for recreational vehicles traveling at highway speeds. The company says it will cooperate in the investigation, which covers about 40,000 tires made from 1996 to 2003. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
A federal judge ruling the Berkshire Museum can sell dozens of pieces of art, including those by Norman Rockwell. The museum, which has been strapped for cash, celebrating the ruling, while also acknowledging people may not be happy about it. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Mina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Louise Munia on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
This time, let's hear it from the first KFC female colonel.
Smoky Mountain barbecue, fried chicken so crispy and sweet. That crispy fried chicken. All right, stop. I can't do this. I thought if I dressed up like a country music legend, it would help KFC sell my delicious new Smoky Mountain barbecue.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Half a day and Good Morning Guam news time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A man accused of visa fraud in recruiting band performers from the Philippines faces another delay in his sentencing. Missing information in the pre-sentence report, as well as the lack of clarity over who has more culpability in the visa fraud case against producer Jemul Luciano, led Chief District Court Judge Francis Tadenko Gatewood yesterday to push sentencing back another week. Luciano accused of sponsoring Philippine bands to perform here on Guam and then using female band members to sell drinks at high prices in violation of their visa status. Judge Gatewood said the information available to her appears to present an inaccurate portrayal of events, which she said was unfair to all involved. Gatewood told the prosecution, "I feel like I've been misled." The prosecution has been instructed to produce a memorandum highlighting the culpability of all those involved by Friday. Senator Tommy Morrison calling it a day. He is the 7th sitting Guam lawmaker to announce he won't be seeking re-election in November. The three-term senator said he wants to spend more time with his family. Morrison's announcement leaves a wide-open field of seats in the Guam legislature, 5 of them Democratic seats now. Speaker Benjamin Cruz, Senator Tom Atta, both Democrats, have both announced they won't be running again. Democratic Senator Michael San Nicolas is running for the congressional delegate seat, and Democrat Senators Frank Uggan Jr. and Dennis Rodriguez Jr. are competing in the gubernatorial race this year. Republican Senator Fernando Esteves, along with fellow GOP Senator Morrison, have also said they won't be running. Guam fire personnel recovering the body of a woman last night from the shoreline beneath Two Lovers Point. And Guam Fire spokeswoman Charika Chargaloff says the woman either jumped or fell from the cliff line above. The incident happened about 6:30 yesterday evening. The body was recovered about 9 last night and transported to GMH for an autopsy. Chargaloff said the incident remains under investigation. We'll have more news after this.
When you think about better water, think Kinetico softened water. Kinetico water conditioners work like no other, supplying a continuous flow of luxuriously soft water without disruption and without use of electricity. After all, better water flows from better thinking. Kinetico.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
On April 14th, join Bank of Guam for the first ever Hagåtña City EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit the Guam Cancer Care and the American Cancer Society Guam. This event begins with a sunset run through our capital, starting at 5 p.m. at the Chamorro Village, and the excitement continues at our block party with food trucks, beer garden, live entertainment, and the greatest beast competition, and a fun-filled kids zone. The Hagåtña City EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, April 14th, brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
News time at the point is 11 minutes past 8 a.m. Guam Supreme Court Justice Robert Torres troubled about the disproportionate share of cuts that the judiciary has been asked to bear in the fiscal realignment plan submitted to the legislature by the governor last week. During a meeting of the Judicial Council yesterday, the judiciary's financial controller, Chris Budasi, reviewed the impact of the current and projected budget cuts faced by the judiciary. During his presentation, he noted that although the judicial and legislative branches have seen 10% cuts in their budgets this fiscal year, the executive branch is not. Under questioning by Justice Torres, Budasi explained that although the governor's office budget has been dropped by 10%, when cuts to the other executive branch agencies like public safety and public health are factored in, the total reduction in the executive branch budget was about 5.6%. That's troubling to me, said Justice Torres. It seems we've been asked to bear a larger percent. I'm not sure we should accept that, he said. Torres urged Budasi to be firm in our position, to share proportionally. We've done our part, said Torres, and I think we should be active in voicing our displeasure with that proposal. PHC Corporation, a subcontractor for a major military construction project up on Andersen Air Force Base, got approval yesterday from U.S. immigration authorities for another 171 more H-2B visas for skilled foreign workers. That raises the total approvals to 333 H-2Bs for the company in the past week. PHC is the first Guam employer in more than 2 years to get full approval of all its H-2B visa petitions. It represents a reversal of the Immigration Service's near 100% denial of H-2B visas since November of 2015. These approvals are all for a military construction project for 2 hangars up at Andersen. It's a $200 million project. PHC is a subcontractor for Cortec International. The Guam Daily Post is an affiliate of Cortec. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Well, let me see what we can scare up for you. Mostly cloudy skies today. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms could occur, with shower activity decreasing over the weekend. East winds 10 to 20 miles an hour in the daytime, diminishing each evening to about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs warm 88 degrees, overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Sunset tonight at 6:33, sunrise tomorrow morning, probably about quarter after 6 o'clock as well. There is a high surf advisory in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning along north-facing Reese, and a high risk of rip current through late tonight along north and east-facing Reese. So just be careful when you are around or in the water. Doing the Manyak thing with Dr. Akimoto. 8:13, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
It's a good plan over there. Portions of the program brought to you by Security Title, when you absolutely need confidentiality in your real estate transaction.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There's so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
If you don't eat this hamburger, you're going to die. A little heavy. Too much? Too much?
I don't even have a sound effect for that one, man.
You mean if you do eat it?
No. This is a good cheeseburger. Wendy's with the new smoky mushroom bacon cheeseburger, smoky sauce, sautéed portobello mushrooms, melted Asiago cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, and crunchy fried onion tangles. Not onion rings, not these big thick fried up things. It's just little tiny, just a little crispy onions that they put on top of a juicy beefy patty for a limited time at Wendy's. Now that's better.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualify today.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out.
All right, we're talking about jobs and getting jobs. I was talking yesterday about these off-grid job opportunities. Maybe if you're looking for a second job, or maybe if you just want to dump out of your dead-end career and I think, you know what, I want to do something that involves as few clothes as possible and tourist chicks, right?
That's the best job.
Yeah, so the Aqua Walk, all they're looking for is somebody with PADI certification, and I think you can get certified, you can get a C card in what, a week? $75, $100 or something like that?
No, it doesn't take long.
No. Well, you just line yourself for this, and then you got the Dolphin Guide for Japanese. This the little Japanese language will help. Scuba Co. is the company that we tried to get a hold of yesterday, but they were all freaked out when we said we were a radio station.
They kind of did, yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't want to talk to you. But there's another job opening here that I think is interesting. Just graduated from high school, looking for a career shop trainee for aluminum and glass. Aluminum and glass. I imagine these guys are glaziers here that will go and replace a piece of glass if it gets broken, or install glass in buildings.
Sounds like they'll build a whole window there.
Yeah, the whole thing. So there's something about this because I know some of the guys in the glazing business, and they're not easy gets, as it were. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got a line on all kinds of jobs, and it is when you do this, you're going to be a busy guy. Let me just tell you that. There's a couple of other things we might talk about that as we develop our sports conversations. Now it's time for Sports with Blake. Okay, it's established. Now somebody has to talk.
So I heard something about dolphin. What'd you say? Dolphin guides.
Yeah, dolphin guides. That's all. That's all you got to do is just be on the boat and say, "Look, there's a dolphin there."
So I
think you have to learn how to say it in like English and Chinese and Japanese and Korean.
I was wondering how I was going to interject this story into the conversation, and that's kind of a good segue.
With the dolphins?
Ish, yeah.
Okay.
Sea life, marine life. This, I don't know if you saw this. Denver Broncos, well, of course you didn't see this. Denver Broncos linebacker, Ray, Von Miller.
Yeah.
He posts on Snapchat a lot and on his Instagram. He's an avid hunter, avid outdoorsman. He's actually from Texas. He's a Texas A&M Aggie, and he's from the same hometown as my mother. Pretty rural place right outside of Dallas called DeSoto. And he has come under fire by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission as of recently because in a recent trip with his friends while he was fishing off the coast of Miami, he caught a 9.5-foot hammerhead shark.
Oh.
Yeah. However, PETA, of course, caught wind of this.
People eating tasty animals.
Yes.
That's what PETA stands for.
And and I guess the picture was the shark was a little bloody mouthed. You know, I guess they had to fight to get it up on board. However, the TMZ, the gossip
guys,
rag, yes, they obtained the full Snapchat feed, and it actually did show them releasing. They just pulled it into the boat, catch release. They pulled it in the boat, took a picture, and then they released it, and the shark swam away.
Yeah.
But he's still being, I guess, investigated because PETA's making a big fuss about it. But yes,
nobody
Super
pays
Bowl
any attention
champion.
to PETA. This is good for him and his career. I'm telling you, because they're going to make a big deal and they're going to blow it out of proportion, and everybody's going to know his name, and it's just going to come off as more whiny stuff from PETA.
I guess just because they are classified as Group 3 sharks, according to the commission's website down in Florida, and second-degree misdemeanor if you harvest them. They didn't harvest it; they just kind of harvested it for a picture.
It's not like they didn't know. Was that what they were fishing for? No, right?
No, they're probably just fishing.
Yeah,
it's just what they got.
Yeah.
Because they're just fishing down in Miami.
Yeah, on a side note, hammerheads are a particularly nasty, mean type of shark.
Yes, they're very aggressive.
Yeah, and mostly over in the Gulf and Atlantic.
Would they park a hearse in front of the legislature?
Absolutely.
Oh yes, if they
giggle as you
Were they
drive
the kind of sharks that would shut down an already closed swimming pool?
Well, yeah, because they have something wrong with their medulla oblongata.
I mean, just the way that they look.
Now, I only do this to make Kevin laugh. I swear to God, the only reason why I say the irresponsible things like that is to make Kevin laugh, because I presume everybody else is getting it too. All right, so
anyway, there you go. There's Von Miller
There's a guy on
fishing.
TV. Mason watches this show, and it's this guy. He's French Portuguese or something like that, and he goes out looking for trying to catch these monsters, and I think it was in Miami or someplace where he tried to land a hammerhead shark. So what is he doing that's so wrong? He's got his own show on Hulu.
Is that Jeremy Wade?
I don't know the guy's name. I just, the show is just on. I don't pay that much attention to it. But he's one of these catch and release guys.
Yeah.
And he caught. There was one fish that he caught, and I can't remember what the episode was, but they were in one of these places where it would have been culturally inappropriate to release it.
Oh.
And so he's got to make all these mea culpas and beat his chest and say, "Oh, I don't mean to do this, and this is not the intention of the show and all of that." But because it's culturally, it would be culturally insensitive to catch the fish and then release it. They instead took it back to the camp and fricasseed it and ate it up just like that. So they,
nice.
And we got the Manyaha guys that
Maybe
are out
made
there
a nice paella
at the boat basin.
Bless you. Yeah.
and so Terry, there's Terry who is online from Gisborne City in New Zealand. What's the? We're supposed
I want to go hunting.
We
I
rub
want to
our
go
noses
hunting in New
together.
Zealand. They have a red
point.
stag
I'm
there.
sorry.
What's the greeting in New Zealand?
I don't know.
Hi?
You're supposed to rub your noses together, right?
Let's
Maori
ask
chant.
the Maori.
Do we got to do the thing? We have to.
The haka dance.
yeah.
The haka.
So Terry, the question is, what are you guys eating down there? What's good to eat in
Red
Gisborne
stag.
City in New Zealand?
Red stag. They got wildlife galore down there.
Yeah, it's
They got
This is the thing I know about. This
good
is the thing
game
I know
meat.
about New Zealand. It's virtually the entire country is a park.
Right, yeah.
You got the tip of the north end of the southern island and the south end of the northern island is all parkland.
Isn't it winter there now, or it's about to be winter, right? Because it's about to be summer in most places. So down
That is correct.
It's right. It's opposite. Yeah.
I guess.
It is autumn.
I guess.
Autumn,
I just wanted to
yes.
see what the Kia ora. That's how you say hello. Kia ora.
Nice.
That's around here. That's what time? What time is dinner? Kia ora. Kia ora. What time
Kia
is the
ora.
dinner around here? So tell us a few more things about it. That'll be fun. Fish, deer, and lamb are
Yep.
some of the things that are on the table. there.
Lamb.
See?
Grass-fed beef as well.
In your Hobbit house.
Yeah, they got grass-fed beef over there in the New Zealand.
He says it's going to be winter soon. This is nice. This is like ham radio. And then the other thing that I know about New Zealand is most of the hops that go into most of the beers that you and I will consume this weekend.
That crispy hop
come from there.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Big place for hops generation.
You know, I was watching a documentary on Vice. I think they were doing the Brooklyn Brewery tour, and they said that they are always getting stopped at JFK for cannabis. For marijuana, because they're always bringing in hops,
Right.
and the smell is very, very, very similar.
I guess.
Very similar, I guess. No, I mean that's what they said. I don't know. I've never seen a brick of hops or anything. I've never been around. I've never made beer.
I went through that stage in my life, and
Were you
it
try
used
to make the beer?
No, it was easy at the time because they had this thing that you could buy at Benson Hardware, right? And it was called Mr. Beer.
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it comes
it
with
came
like a kit. The
Yeah,
kettle and
yeah.
the-
You've got this plastic kettle deal, and you boil this, and you put that in the other, and then you stick it all together in the thing, and then you wait 3 weeks while it goes through this first fermentation process, and then there's another part of it where you make it go through a second fermentation process. And I was making multiple batches of this stuff.
Get a couple jugs.
Oh yeah. I had multiple batches going on, and the cool thing about it was you could buy different flavors. It was like a subscription kit. Like you know how like people get Keurig things in the mail.
Right, like the boxes. Yeah, like
you could
like
get
a beer box.
You could get different kinds of recipes that you could make. And I got to a point where I had gotten tired of doing the basic recipes that they had. So I'd want to make something with honey instead of sugar.
Right.
So it had more of a mead flavor to it. I was using calamansi to flavor it, to sweeten it. I'd get the calamansis that I was growing in the front yard. Did a batch with figs. Just
Really?
for fun. Yeah, just for fun.
No
The
Donny?
Mr. Beer
Any
things
Donny?
were great. Unfortunately, the next step from that,
Right.
no, I didn't try Donny. Man, but the next step to that would have been gutting an entire room of the house and
Having a whole
going
brew-
all the way
a brew
through.
room.
Yeah.
Get
So
some
I
copper tanks in there.
never did get around
Imagine
to doing
that right now. You could go to 76 Circle K and get a Ray's Home Brew.
Yeah, so Brad knows what I'm talking about. The Mr. Beer, I don't know. I'd love to do it again, but the one that I wanted to make that I couldn't make was a Pilsner. There was a kind of Pilsner that I wanted to make, but I couldn't do it because it required it to be fermented cold. And
Not so much here.
Yeah, I couldn't get permission from the administration to take stuff out of the refrigerator so I could put my Mr. Beer thing in there. That was a little bit of a problem. Anyway, 827. Was there any sports?
I did. I got IIG girls soccer.
You the man. Well, let's get to it.
All right. Oakadoo High School Bulldogs, they get their first win of the season. Shout out to the Oakadoo High Lady Bulldogs after they beat the Red Hot St. John's Knights 2-1. That happened up at Oakadoo Field. I think we talked about that. And also wanted to give you a preview of what's going on tonight, the 6th. Yes, St. John going to look to bounce back, as is Academy. Both teams desperately need a win. They will be playing out at GFA 4:30 this afternoon. And then tomorrow, all kickoffs at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Harvest taking on St. Paul. Indy taking on JFK. JFK,
yeah,
undefeated.
Still.
Yes. Watch out for them.
Awesome.
And then GW, I believe, also undefeated, or maybe they're 1-0. They've won a game. They will take on Sanchez at Ukadu Field this weekend. That's all tomorrow. That is on Jesus Day Eve, Saturday night.
Okay. The other thing that we have to keep in mind now is recall that there is the United Guam International Marathon.
I read that earlier.
Several thousand runners going to be out there on the roads. I'm just if you need to sign up, you need to go to the expo, which opens at 11 o'clock this morning. I've already signed up. So for me, it's just packet pickup and carbo loading and trying to ditch those last 2 pounds. I'm down to 171 and change, trying to get under 170. I'm trying to get to 169 by Sunday morning.
Very
That
close.
sounds unhealthy.
It's very keto. Are you in keto?
No, it's, I don't know. How's my breath? But so that's what I'm trying to do. There's another thing that I thought
Also,
was
the
interesting.
roads. By the way, I noticed yesterday the road is already blocked off down in Tuman, and like they've already got the lane. They've got pylons in the road.
Oh, right in front of
that
the
says,
EPOB beach
it
already?
says reminder road closure April 8th.
Yeah,
so.
there's going to be a whole lot happening. So just if you don't need to be on the road anywhere between what time's the marathon kicks off at 3, right? So 3 slow runners, 6 hours, real slow runners, 7 hours maybe out there. So if you don't need to be there between until after like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, stay off Marine Corps Drive.
Yeah.
Just
it's
for just the
marathon weekend. Good luck, friends.
Technically speaking, the road will be shut down until 11.
But there'll be cops out there. It's not like you're not going to be able to use Marine Corps Drive. It's just going to be tougher getting into and out of some of the intersections.
Am I reading the forecast right? Is it supposed to be like this, misty and rainy all weekend?
It could very well be, at least into tomorrow. And Sunday is
Sunday
kind
early
of
morning.
a crapshoot right now, but because it's the tropics,
days,
so you never really know. I mean,
all right.
Okay, one last thing. Somebody, James said that New Zealand is some kind of a UFO hotbed. Is there anybody in the room that can attest to that?
I thought that was Arizona, but I could be wrong. I'll have to look into that. I'm all about UFOs.
I've got nothing on that one.
Kevin, UFO guy?
I've been on one.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened?
See, that's why I throw to him every once in a while, because I never know what's going to come out of his mouth.
They came out like a month ago and they said aliens exist, and now they're coming out being like, we were just kidding. Which is exactly what they would say.
Yes.
Who's they that said that?
Exactly.
It's them. It's the men in black. It's those guys.
It's the people who board that weird airline to Area 51 every morning.
8:29 in the morning. All right, Blake, I'm going to let you run. You have an outstanding rest of the day and a cool weekend. We'll get caught up on all the sports activities that you were able to cover on Monday morning. In the meantime, it's 8:30. Headlines next, but first these.
The Point Radio recently published the results of an unhacked poll asking opinions on the weakest gubernatorial team of Democratic candidates. The results show our people want experienced leaders. Governor Gutierrez has an impressive track record leading under harsh conditions, getting us through difficult times, and bringing a better quality of life to our people. The Gutierrez-Bordallo team offers more tested and proven leadership than any other team. Please vote Gutierrez-Bordallo on August 25th.
I'm Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this message.
Oh, man, got to look at traffic here in just a couple of minutes. Shall we into the headlines? Sure, why not? Kevin, do you, me, him? Okay, yeah, so let me introduce Kevin Kerrigan now from the Guam Daily Post with his last look at headlines.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 31 minutes past 8 a.m. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, more than a dozen village streets may undergo repairs soon. Governor Eddie Calvo yesterday approving the road repair contract between the Department of Public Works and Hawaiian Rock Products. DPW Director Glenn Leon Guerrero says he hopes repairs will be completed in 19 village streets by the end of the summer. The project is being funded using $1.8 million from the Territorial Highway Fund, part of DPW's own budget, and about $2 million provided by the governor through a federal grant. The first 5 roads to be paved will be in the Gilbreeze subdivision in Jigo, Santati Lane in Piti, Biang Street in Mongmong Totomaide, Palikiran Hickey Drive in Sinahanya, and Erskine Drive in Agate. Morocco Equipment has announced that they are now completely owned by company employees. The announcement made last night during a special employee meeting at the Hilton. The conversion to an employee stock ownership plan became effective on March 31st. Morocco has been in business on Guam for nearly 30 years. President Alan Morrison says in a release that the move is aimed at growing the company and rewarding their dedicated employees as they plant even deeper roots on Guam. In Superior Court yesterday, 2 men were charged with stealing more than $12,000 worth of canned corned beef and mackerel from their employer. The owner of the 7-Day supermarket in Harmon called police after conducting an inventory and finding 150 cases of canned meats and other goods missing. According to court records, a warehouse employee alleged that they witnessed the warehouse manager, Edwin Ocampo, and former employee Iancito Namio take the canned goods. The magistrate report states that Ocampo allegedly admitted that he gave Namio 12 cases of canned goods but denied stealing anything else. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
That's some serious money. Is this 12 cases? Give a dozen cases to his buddy?
Ooh.
About $88 a piece. So that's a grand or better. Unbelievable. It's grand theft, I tell you. Grand theft, 8:32 in the morning is iConnect time. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
Taking a look at the traffic here at 8:33 in the morning, and you can tell by looking at the gizmo that today is Friday. There's no doubt about it. Traffic on 8, 10, and 16 snagging up here from about the post office until you get to the intersection. It's a lot of people, and they're not going to Route 10. They just need to get south, and so you'll see a long line of traffic trying to get through that intersection, and they're just going to get stuck on Route 8. Inbound towards that intersection on Route 8 is also a little ugly this morning. Let me see here. Ordot, Pago, traffic building in both directions, but definitely slowing down if you were headed towards the downtown area. And downtown traffic is busy at all of the usual intersections down there. Traffic building up and down Marine Corps Drive as anybody can see, because it's Friday. Shall I take a look at the intersection of 1 and 3? Sure, why not? Traffic coming in and out of GRMC, not really a problem, but northbound traffic getting slowed down there. Just a lot of people that want to get moving, and there's not much by way of relief lanes, if you will. So if somebody got to turn in front of you, you got to wait until they're done. Day. That's just the way it is. 8:35. That's the traffic on the point.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manila on Route 10, Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manila. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
My calendar filleth up here. There's just so much stuff going on. Quiz night on the 20th. Got my invitation here. Where did I put it? I got an invitation to Small Business Social Mixer. This will be held by the chamber. It's chamber hosting it, but it's going to be held. They like to rotate these things. Last time it was over at Coast 360, and this time it is at ANZ Guam and the Hulali Shopping Center. And the concept, as I understand, is like speed dating. So you bring a lot of business cards, and you sit down in front of somebody, and for a few minutes, and you talk about possible business relationships. Tell me about yours, and I'll tell you about mine. And then a few minutes later, you go and you harass somebody else. Now, for me, I just go because there's booze. But I'm sure that there's others that are a little bit more fastidious about following the rules. If you want my business card, just come and find me. And I got this notice here. The World Karate Organization, the WKO, Shinkyo Kushinkai Karate Guam, will host the 2018 Guam National Full Contact Karate Championship Saturday, April the 21st at the Jigo Gym. 50 competitors expected to participate in various age and gender categories. This is going to be fun to watch. 5th year that the WKO organization on Guam has hosted the championship. The tournament format follows guidelines set forth by the guy in the Karate Kid, and will feature matches under what is commonly known as knockdown or full contact karate. Admission $5. The tournament will start promptly at 2 o'clock. Any martial arts schools interested in participating are encouraged to contact the WKO headquarters. Find Chris Biacchino. Find Chris, and he'll go ahead and bring in. There are a couple of other things that are going to be happening, and while we get our next bunch of guests situated here, a note from Juanita Blas that there is going to be the pancake deal tomorrow at the Island Girl Power Place. So we'll get some time and talk about that here in just a little bit. I just got to get my hands on the thing. It's in the chat. I'll find it. I'll find it eventually. And I got guests. We're doing guests. It must be Friday. And a couple of favorite guests, a couple of my favorite girls are in the studio with me to talk about the Wave Club and a big adventure that they're going to be doing in the next couple of days. You don't need to put those on. No, because it's just going to be us. We get some phone calls or something like that, and then we'll stick them. Somebody wants to ask you about paving after. You do, wait, hold on a second. You followed up on my deal?
Yes, and I would like the customer or your listener who was called it in to send me an email with the pictures, because I'm told the project is finished and it has been paved to the specifications of the contract. So if they are not happy, otherwise I need to go down there. Show me some art. Yeah, I need to go down there myself next week. I don't have time today, but if they can email me, Heidi@GuamWaterworks.org, I will follow up. What I got from the engineer and the engineer assistant in charge of the project, that it has been finished and the road paved.
Okay, so it was Becky North, lives down Santa Rita Way, and the GWA has been doing some work down there, and she was wondering if they were going to come back and pave, and according to the guy, it's done. It's done. It's back to spec. Okay, that's great. Okay. So one of my classmates here, that's Heidi Malendorf. You recognize the voice, and she is not here to talk about GWA stuff. You. And Donna Muñoz-Caneta is in the studio as well, and she's not here to talk about Guam Auto Spot.
No, I'm here to talk about the
you can if you want.
Yeah, sure. Come down and see me to buy any of a Buick, GMC, or pre-owned Love Cars or Mitsubishi.
What's the number one seller?
Trucks.
Yeah.
Trucks. Canyon, Sierra. We have a great deal on the Sierra, so thanks, Ray, for making me plug that in.
No. I test drove the what was it? It was the
Canyon.
It was the Canyon. I test drove the only reason why I didn't buy that car. Well, she's making the face now. It didn't have the right kind of radio. I wanted it to have the HD radio. And the guy's like, well, we can do that aftermarket. Well, maybe we'll get one special.
I will make it work.
We'll get one special just for you. And while I got you, a quick question: can I have a car that I want to sell, but I don't want to trade it for anything else? Can I bring it by?
Most definitely, yes.
Yeah?
We buy pre-owned, pre-loved cars.
Can I get the Billy Bangkok special?
You certainly can. If Daddy's involved, of course, Ray.
I'm using every connection because I need to sell.
Even in heaven, you can still get his connection.
Very good, very good. So
we go way back.
Oh my God! There is the story that everybody in the Muñoz clan loves to tell about the time that Bill, Uncle Bill, gave me.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, here's a cup of soup. And so he's giggling
corn
the whole
soup.
time.
Don't forget corn soup.
Here's a corn soup, boy. you just eat it. It's good, and it's a fiesta time. So I'm chugging this thing down, and I get about, I don't know, a third of the way down into the cup, and there's this bat head staring back at me.
Honey, it's Dad's sense of humor with Ray. He loved you, Ray.
Oh, I
you know
I
that.
loved him too. He's one of my favorite Bill Munoz stories has to do with.
Was it a real bat head?
Yeah, it was a real bat head.
So it was fettuccine soup, not corn soup. Yeah. But it was disguised as corn soup. Okay, got it.
Tasty. But one of my favorite things about him was the way that he made his the cut and pica. Use stewing chickens for that, so it stays in your mouth longer. You've got to chew on this stuff. And
Ray, he cooked for you. You know that, Ray.
Oh,
he
I know
cooked for you, called you to the house, and said, "Ray, I
think about you'd be surprised how often I think about you, old man. 8:41 in the morning, and so next week there is going to be. I'm trying to.
And you're coming.
Calendar is just freaking me out.
You're a guest MC, so we're not making you do duty the whole night. We want you to come and have fun.
Okay.
But it is our last one.
Yeah.
Well, let's go on to the event. It's the 13th annual wine and food pairing, and as we celebrate 30 years of the Wave Clubs.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. And so
welcome all visitors enthusiastically.
There's a Bert Unpinko taught me that in the 1970s, and it's still whenever I see the word wave, that's what pops into my head. Have you seen the speaking of Bert Unpinko, there is
God rest his soul.
There is on the wall that separates the Nico Hotel and the construction project of the new PHR building. They've got all these murals in there, and there is an image of Bert Unpinko.
Oh yeah.
You got the necklace
Our
on.
kids,
He's
our
wearing
kids
the
did
thing.
some of that.
Oh, did they? Oh, that was outstanding work.
Yeah.
So I was delighted to see the homage to the father of tourism here on Guam. I thought that was absolutely terrific. And Wave, the Wave Group, certainly one of the offshoots of the idea that we should welcome all visitors enthusiastically. Anybody that heard me talking much about the hospitality industry, and I had Nate on yesterday. I want us to remember the basics of Chamorro hospitality, and it's high touch, not high tech. So when you've got an opportunity to get into the sphere of a visitor from Guam, and it doesn't matter to me whether they're Japanese or Korean or Chinese or in the military, you've got a chance to really make a memory and make an impression. So take advantage of it. I mean, if you got an extra beer in the cooler, call somebody off the beach. You got extra ribs on the barbecue, call them up.
Yeah,
that was how we really did it back in the day, in the 70s, when tourism really got started, and we've probably gotten away from a little bit of that. So yeah, we want to get back to that.
So every opportunity that you've got to take advantage of it. You're going to be on the beach, and somebody's going to be passing by, and just find a way to make their time on Guam and their time with you that much more memorable.
Well, Ray, we with the TEC, the Tourism Educational Council, and our Wave Clubs, there's more to it than, just the Wave Club. I mean, these kids learn a lot about how to keep the island beautiful, paint bus stops, pick up trash, do the Rhino Beetle project, the Farm to Table project. I mean, there's so many things that the Wave Club do, and people don't know that.
Yeah.
People don't know that. And we've been doing this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Heidi and I have been doing this for almost 30 years. And then for the last 3 years, she goes, don't worry, just be the chair of the TEC, and you're only going to be there for a year. Well, 3-4 years later, I'm still here, and I'm pushing tickets.
Look
my dearest friend.
how God, we were all together when we were 16 and 17, and look at us now. Look how far we've come.
That's why our parents are laughing at us in heaven. Look at what we thought.
We just had our Islam Ideas Youth Expo. We had 800 kids
Plus
at the
kids.
event, and
There's
the
more
Wave Clubs have grown. When I started working with them, we had about 200 kids. Today we have about 950 kids.
Great. I love that kind of growth. And excited to hear that there is service learning that goes along with this. I'm not a big fan of service learning. I think it's applied slavery to the high school students. But there's a lot of kids that are doing it because they want to do it, not because I need somebody to sign a piece of paper when I'm done.
Well, we try to teach the kids throughout the school year. We're a school-based program, and I also big shout out to our teachers. They're volunteers. They volunteer to coordinate the clubs in each school. They don't get any real recognition on that, except for our recognition right now. But we teach the kids about what makes Guam a unique destination. And what makes Guam a unique destination is our culture, our language, our food, our people around the table, our history. You and I love history, Ray, and Donna does too.
Why didn't you put food first?
So all those things we teach the kids all throughout the year.
So you said this is your last one?
Yeah. We're going to do something different.
She wants to emphasize
we're going to do
on
something
the
different. Yeah, and we're going to raise money for the Youth Expo. We're doing sort of TED Talks for kids.
Right.
That's what we did this year. And that's going to be our big focus next year.
So there's going to be people that listen and go, what do you mean you don't understand? What is a TED Talk? What is that? Why is that such a big thing?
Well, TED Talks were started to really bring experts in the field of technology, education, and design to remote places of the earth. Where's more remote than Guam and Micronesia?
I got you.
And I have a passion now, being that we've done it. We call it Islam Ideas because TED Talks has a lot of rules, and you can't call it TED Talks. But my plan is to do TED Talks Guam and Micronesia youth. And TED Talks they do different things. They have the TED Talks, which is like they have people like Bill Gates in there and what's his name, Tony Robbins, like these experts, and they get up there and they don't do death by PowerPoint.
Thank God.
Yeah, because I'm so over it, right? They get up there and talk about in their field of expertise, and it's an 18-minute talk. And then you go on. You can go online. You can see it. Like if you want to see Tony Robbins in his TED Talk, you can go and check it out. So it's always perpetually there on the internet. Now and then they morphed it into also TEDx and also TED Education. So, and then you get when we did ours this past February, we had a kid from Guam. His name is Meta Sarmiento.
Okay.
And he is a TED Talk speaker, but he lives in, I think he lives in Washington. And he was amazing. You got to Google Meta Sarmiento.
Okay.
He talks about, I'm from a small island, and I'm small too. And then he's like, and he talks about being, I think he's half
Making a
Filipino,
difference,
half Chamorro.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, here he is, this small person and from a small island, but you can make a difference. Small things.
I like the story.
Yeah, you're going to love it.
Okay.
Please promise me you'll Google him.
I promise. I've written it down.
Meta Sarmiento.
I'll go find the thing.
What we're going to do, because we had such a great, inspiring time this time, we had the kids from Chook came and performed. I didn't know they were such rock stars.
Very talented, yes.
They were mobbed. They were mobbed, But next year we're going to do it in January. The date's set, 30th and 31st. And we've got a club from Inarajan, because the goal of TED Talks, too, for the youth is to have the youth put it on. So youth speakers are telling their stories.
Right.
And
instead of people
year,
that we think are cool.
Right. And it shouldn't be boring old Heidi or, no offense, boring old Ray or Donna, even though we're fun and interesting.
Right.
It's supposed to be the kids. And this year, of course, is the first year we did it, so we didn't really have that energy yet. And the kids they're little, our kids are a little bit shy. But I got the Inarajan Club really excited.
Okay.
And they're going to do a presentation at next year's TED Talk.
So that'll be late January, and
Yep.
And keep listening to the point as we get
Yes,
closer.
you're going to be
you're
going to be very involved.
Oh, good. I don't
See how she did that? See how she just slid that in there?
Yeah. I've known Heidi for a long time. It comes with the territory. So now you've got a role to play here. We're talking about a specific event at the end of the day, and the event here. Let me have that so I don't have to find it on my phone. It's the 13th annual Wine and Food Pairing. Cheers to 30 years. So we're going back to the 80s. There'll be 80s old school DJs and music and entertainment and all of that stuff. I'll wear my members only jacket again.
Thank you.
So normally this costs you $75, but if you go find Heidi or Donna now, it'll cost you $60 to get in. And so this is going to take place April the 12th. That's next Thursday
At the museum.
at the Guam Museum.
Yep.
I like doing events at the museum.
It's going to be awesome. Aren't we fortunate to have that?
I didn't think I would, but
I
I went to
know.
a couple of things there, and I thought, this is great. You go walk around downstairs, see the exhibits, and go to the coffee shop, maybe buy some souvenirs, and then you roll upstairs, and you've got that nice causeway, the breezeway that they built up there, and I can't think of a better place to throw a couple back.
It's going to be inside, outside, because it is a little hot. This time of year people do get a little, it's hot, but we're real excited. And, of course, the museum is just, if you haven't been to the museum, gosh, you're really missing out on one of Guam's newest gems. So we're really fortunate to have that venue.
They need more lights in the backyard.
Okay, we'll talk to Perpetual on that.
I passed by, I don't know if it's their job, but I passed by yesterday because they had the Thursday food truck thing, right? So I passed by there, and I was tempted to get out and maybe go get something to eat. And I saw they haven't changed anything yet. They need more street lights or some kind of lights in the park itself, so that when you sit down, you can see the food. Because I don't know what is this? This is all fat. Where's the
But
meat
people are
part of
starting
this?
to
By
get
the way,
to notice that
good luck on the half marathon before I forget. Ray's running the half marathon on Sunday.
Trying to get back under 2 hours. That's what I'm shooting for. I don't think I can do it, but I'm going to try. That's how I've got my weight down.
I know, you look great.
Yeah,
you look
so
really, really good.
Got the weight down to try to do that. So my brother says, "Why you want to die?" I said, "Because you can run faster when you're."
Yeah, you have to. People don't realize that.
Yeah, every 5 pounds is that's another minute or two. So that's the plan. So I'm looking forward to that. The guys at the GIM have put together a fantastic deal. So if people want to buy these tickets.
Yeah, they can.
What do we do?
They can call me, email me, Heidi@guam.net. I'll deliver them. I got tickets with me right now. We're giving three away to your listeners. I don't know how you want to do that, but however you do that, do that.
We're making you responsible for that.
You don't need a ticket. You're already taken care of. Okay.
So
but those are promotional for you to give away. Whatever you want to do. Okay. We have 3 for you.
I'm going to ponder this while the news is playing in a few minutes.
Okay. So we thank you so much.
Thank you, Ray.
That's it. We're done.
We're done.
We
love
Shelley's
By the way,
doing the 40th anniversary of the Academy of Our Lady of Guam thing.
She hasn't called us to help her?
No, I did. That's with the
called me.
concert, right?
No one called me.
They're bringing Filipino stars to sing, right?
Yeah, and buy me drinky afterwards.
When is
Shelley?
that?
You did not just say
it?
that, Shelley.
When is it? Shelley, you need to WhatsApp us.
I don't know. I'll find out.
You let us get through next week,
week
Thursday.
Sunday. I think it's next week Sunday.
Nobody told me.
We're helping
Sunday?
sponsor that.
Oh, man.
I couldn't tell you, but
You know, when
we'll
Auntie
work it
Joanne
through.
calls and Academy calls, we listen.
The answers, it's like the nuns over at the place.
I cannot
sister
say
calls.
no to them.
Any sister calls, the answer is yes. Whatever it takes, I'll do it. Just like in the
I'll be
first
ready. They're
grade.
remembering all that time you were ugly in school.
That's their job. They're supposed to remember all of those things. Well, it's 8:53. Tell you what, we'll go ahead and get these guys out of here.
Can I just one quick shout out to Joanna Duenas, our classmate.
What happened to her?
No, I was just talking to her this morning. I said we're all going to be on the radio today. So
yeah.
So
Is she
she
here?
might be listening. No, she's in Denver.
Oh. That's my girl.
We still keep in touch. Class of 80. Remember that, right?
You know how we are.
We're all trafficked. I got Bob Kelly saying traffic backed up in Tiedzen going
Donna
to the
was
airport.
stuck in it.
I was stuck in that.
Was there an accident when you got to the front?
No, there's just plenty.
Oh, a lot of cars.
Yeah, but I
gotcha.
don't complain about a lot of
No,
cars.
I didn't think you would. Be right back after these.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
On April 14th, join Bank of Guam for the first ever Hagunya City EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit the Guam Cancer Care and the American Cancer Society Guam. This event begins with a sunset run through our capital, starting at 5 p.m. at the Chamorro Village, and the excitement continues at our block party with food trucks, beer garden, live entertainment, and the greatest beast competition, and a fun-filled kids zone. The Hagunya City EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, April 14th, brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Talk? Don't talk? My turn? Just gotta get that music better underneath. Gotta give me something funky. Something's got a groovy beat.
Yeah, my OCD, can't talk without music.
It's bad. His OCD is bad. You should see this guy at the Xerox machine. Did I take the paper out? Did I take the paper out? Look again. Take the paper out. Doorknobs.
You're giving away my secret.
8:55. Hi, my name is Ray. Great to have Donna in the studio. Great to have Heidi in the studio. Great to have 1, 2, 3 tickets. These would normally cost you $75 a piece to hang out at the museum for the Back to the 80s 13th annual wine and food pairing. 75 and 75 is 150 and another 75 on top of that. So I got serious giveaway potential here.
Wow.
And how am I going to give it away? I don't know. You'd think I would have planned better for something like this, but I'm just not that good. So while the news is playing, I'll see if I can come up with and concoct some kind of mechanism. What do you want me to do? Caller number 2 or something like that?
No. I was going to say give away 2 pair to reward our Facebook viewers because really that's the new thing for us. So give 2 away on there.
How am I
and
supposed
one
to
by
feed it
phone.
through the phone?
Oh, they have to come pick it up.
I don't know.
They got to come pick it up.
Okay,
Anyway.
let me ponder. Let me ponder because this. Because it's not my idea. That's why I'm going to ponder it. If it was my idea, it'd be great. But since it's yours. Who's playing on my Facebook today? Nal Baraber, Montesilva, baby sister Montesilva's in there. See, Lawrence is chiming in saying, "Yay, Facebook viewers!" Yeah. Frankie Gutierrez says, "Great job, Ray. Thanks for returning to the radio." I never really left. I was doing some other thing. I get that every once in a while. There's a couple of questions that people ask me all the time. Where have you been? And the first, the answer to that one is real simple. I wanted to make sure that there were more people listening to Boss 104 and Star 101. Right. And so that's what I had been doing for about the last couple of years, buying transmitters, installing antennas, and working on towers and formatics and programming, and working with some incredible talent that we've got here in the shop. So that's what I've been up to. The other one is, what are those two bumps on your head? And these are my horns. They're my horns, and when I'm particularly naughty, they're a little bit more prominent. Actually, I don't know. You know what they are? According to my mom, they're like a calcium buildup on the bone.
Oh, really?
Because they don't move around.
Ah, it could be. It could very well be.
And
then,
so I remember I said, what I'd like to do is maybe I'm going to go to the Philippines, and I'll go find a plastic surgeon out there, and then they can sand it down.
Right.
So it's the same as the other one. And she says, "Do you know how they would do it? How the procedure would go?" And I thought, no, I have no idea. How would that go? And she said something, and it vaguely reminded me of a couple of scenes from the movie Faces of Death. Do you remember that? So what I'm told the doctor would do would be to cut an arc over the ear, over my forehead, over the top of my skull to the other ear, and then pull the flap, the skin over, and they'd probably latch it to my chin. Ew. And then sand it down and then put it all back.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just live with this.
Yeah, just leave them.
It's the only thing, I just need two more on the other side. Then it will really look like horns. But as I said, when I'm particularly naughty, that's what I'm doing. What are you looking at there? What are you staring at out there? I got people in the outer room going, "Oh my God, he's talking about the bumps on his heads." All right, so coming up, it's going to be Fox News Live in just a few seconds. I don't have Kevin Kerrigan with any more headlines and big news coming up on the other side of that. I will tell you how you're going to win 1, 2, 3 of these. And yeah, because it's Mike's idea, and Mike is a full-blown participant in this program, and everybody's opinion counts, even if I think it sucks, I'm going to give away... I'm going to give away 2 of these tickets to Facebook viewers, all right? So I'll tell you how you're going to win this while the news is playing and I get a chance to figure it out. Stand by now for Fox News on the Point.
A number on troops. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump saying he wants to send anywhere between 2,000 and 4,000 National Guard troops to the southern border. The president with the comments this afternoon aboard Air Force One on his way back from West Virginia. As for the border states, 3 out of 4 have given the okay.
While California Governor Jerry Brown hasn't weighed in yet, the state National Guard has. They say they're looking at the request, as they did in 2010 and 2006, but we're waiting on more details. National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd says the Guard would be a big help.
It allows them to take over the surveillance positions, which then allows us to deploy more of our agents on the border.
Some congressional Democrats say it's also very much not needed, but Judd says attempted crossings seem to be increasing again after decreasing, mostly with people coming from Central America.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. He didn't know about a $130,000 payment. President Trump making those comments also aboard Air Force One when asked about money adult film star Stormy Daniels claims was paid to her by the president's personal attorney. Daniels claims she and the president had an affair over a decade ago, and she was paid as part of a non-disclosure agreement. The jury seated in the Bill Cosby sexual assault retrial. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, the next time Bill Cosby appears in a Pennsylvania courtroom, opening statements will be underway. Attorneys finished selecting the 6 alternate jurors today, 4 men and 2 women. Half of the 6 are black. One of the men selected said his wife was was a sex assault victim when she was a girl, but that would not affect his impartiality should he be called to serve. As with the first trial that ended in a deadlocked jury last year, Cosby faces 3 felony counts for allegedly drugging and molesting accuser Andrea Constand in 2004. The judge expects the case to last about a month, Lisa.
Thanks, Granal. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
For more than 40 years, we've managed our island's most precious resource, your health. Take Care's benefit plans allow members access to more than 120 medical providers, 40 dental providers, and 18 pharmacies in the region. Take Care's health plans ensure members in Palau, Saipan, and Guam receive the care they deserve. Our programs and wellness classes have proven results for our valued members, and our commitment to your health never been stronger. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
For more information.
Hawaii becomes the 6th state to legalize medically assisted suicide. Fox's Steve Rappaport has details live.
Lisa, Governor David Ige signing a bill today that allows doctors to prescribe lethal drugs to terminally ill patients. The Democrats saying everyone knows their loved ones will eventually die, but they don't need to suffer. The measure requires 2 healthcare providers to confirm the patient's diagnosis, prognosis, and their ability to voluntarily make a life-ending decision. A mental health counselor also must determine that the patient does not suffer from a lack of treatment or depression. Doctors who coerce requests for end-of-life treatment would face criminal penalties. Critics argue the measure puts poor, elderly, sick, and disabled people at risk. Lisa?
Steve, skeletal remains found on New York's Long Island have been positively identified as those of a woman missing since 1966. The Suffolk County Medical Examiner says the remains found buried in the basement of the home in Southold last month are those of 38-year-old Louise Petrovitz. The home once belonged to the woman's boyfriend, who died in the early 1980s. The case was reopened after a local newspaper published an in-depth story in October on the woman's disappearance. For the first time in decades, Saudi Arabia will again have movie theaters.
Don't freeze. I never freeze. American chain AMC saying it will open Saudi Arabia's first new movie theatre in the capital, Riyadh, on April 18th. It's reported American superhero movie Black Panther is lined up to be the first screening. AMC says it plans to open up to 100 theatres in the country in the next 12 years, and other chains are expected to follow. Saudi movie theatres were closed in the 70s. The reopening is part of a package of social reforms pushed by the country's crown prince. Simon Owen, Fox News.
Bollywood superstar Salman Khan, convicted today of poaching rare deer in a wildlife preserve 2 decades ago, sentenced to 5 years in prison. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Buenas and half a day, Guau si Claraming Lotnya of Malolo. And this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanotmu, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Looking for a reliable power system when the power goes out? Kohler Power Systems are quiet, reliable, and dependable. And they stay that way with regular service and support from the team at Morico Equipment, because they also offer qualified after-sales service and support for Kohler Power Systems. Kohler generator systems are sold and serviced on Guam by Morico Equipment. You should call them now at 649-1946 or click moricoequipment.com.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
can also watch live on Facebook. All you got to do is go to point.gu on Facebook, and we've got the mechanism there to provide audio and video. And the cool thing that I like about the Facebook features, I can see you. This is a radio guy's dream come true,
Yeah,
right?
it
So
is,
you go. I wonder if so and so is listening, and you know what? I can look and say, yeah, James is listening, and so is Lillian. Lillian sent me a note earlier today to remind everybody that this weekend, tomorrow, is the Island Girl Power Pancake Breakfast. We're doing flapjacks, boys and girls. It's going to happen tomorrow at... What time did we say this was going to be? I think I've got the notes from when I talked to from 8 a.m. until 11:30. It's $15 for grown-ups. You can, and that's for dine-in, $10 to go, and kids under 5 will eat for absolutely free. And a big shout-out to Triple J Enterprises, because they were able to snag, if you will, they were able to put together some real maple syrup.
Yeah.
This is such an incredible thing. Real maple syrup.
That by itself is worth the admission price.
So you might be thinking, because we all grew up watching the same commercials, right? You might be thinking that Aunt Jemima or whatever, that's real maple syrup. No. It might have been once upon a time, but I don't think it is anymore. No. It is probably imitation. It is probably high fructose corn syrup or Franken sugar, what I call it, and artificial colors and artificial flavors. Right? There's not a whole lot of real actual maple syrup in the thing. So keep looking in that same aisle. You'll find maple syrup. It will cost more. It will cost more because it wasn't made in a factory. It actually came out of a tree, and somebody had to harvest it. And this is, there's time and motion and intense. So always spend up, and they've got real syrup coming to you for this thing tomorrow. Now, I wanted to get Josh on the line from GVB. Good morning, Josh. How you doing?
Good morning, Ray.
It was great to spend some time with you and Nate and the guys from and Milton and the guys from GVB last night, and the girls from GVB as we did the, what did you call it, the relighting ceremony, flipping the switch ceremony?
Yeah, we definitely flipped the switch down in Tumon last night, and it was really good to see you too. It's been a while, but
well, and we'll probably see plenty of each other at the GIM this weekend. You're going to be running the full marathon, right? Are you feeling up for it?
Yes. I caught that bug that's been going around, so I'm just getting over it now. So I put in a few months of training in, so I really am looking forward to just running this. I haven't ran a full marathon on Guam for the last 4 years. So.
Yeah. Oh, so but you've got the training. You did you've got mileage under your feet.
Yes, definitely. And I have been training a lot, and even reuniting with a lot of our runner friends on Sundays, and it's just been a wonderful experience coming back to running again. And looking forward to this weekend and UGM. The expo is opening up today, so
about 2 hours from now.
Yeah, so make sure everyone gets their packets picked up so we can start off the UGM weekend on the right foot.
Well, you know what? I was trying to find Ben Ferguson earlier because I wanted to ask Ben about this new thing they're doing, so that if you're a spectator and say Josh passes by you, you can get a picture of Josh, and as long as the photo itself shows your bib number. That's something that you can buy, and they will get paid for. And then there's other prizes and stuff that just casual photographers and people out snapping pictures on their phones can participate in.
Right. Yes, I saw the release too, and it's definitely that's something new because I know there's so many pictures and professional photographers out there that. Right. And so it's it just makes the experience of seeing your loved one out there more full because then they get to capture them without really knowing who they are, but they see the bid numbers and then
But yeah, so even random people can take a picture of my bib, and I'll be able to buy the picture from them, and they might not be in all of the places where some of the photographers get staged. This is a big part of actual marathon culture here, and you and I both run the Honolulu Marathon, and in Hawaii, there's you can see it for 100 yards. This is going to be a picture location, and so you start trying to pretty yourself up after 13 or 14 miles so that you don't look like a wet dog running up to these guys. You just
prepared to smile.
Yeah, adjust your glasses, and for me, I always run bareback, so I'm sucking in my gut, trying to look. I have an ab, just one, but it's there, right? So that's what I want to be in the picture.
Training, Ray. You've been training, so you've been looking good. So
Feeling good, Mortimer. Anyway, so we'll get back to the thing. So did I get the number right? $1.8 million for the refurbing all of the lights in Tumon?
Yeah, that's correct. $1.8 million just to get all 325 lights up to working code again. For a long time, this project was. It's been years, and actually, I pulled Doris Atta from GVB as well to, if you needed extra information too, like she's available to talk to you. But yeah, this project.
Well, yeah, I just want Doris to say hi to my dad, because every time I see her, she asks me how Pop's doing. I know Pop is listening in North Carolina, so go ahead and say hello to Dad, Doris.
Here, Doris, here, say hi to her.
Yes, we missed your dad. He was part of the GVB board, and he was the one that actually started this Excellence in Tourism Award.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a program to recognize outstanding employees in the industry. So thanks to your dad, this program is still going strong.
I told you, Pop, everybody remembers you out here.
Yes. Well, we'll never forget your dad. He's a great man, and he really served well on the GVB board.
He had a lot of. Pop's got a lot of passion for Guam. Had a lot of passion for the hospitality industry. We all recognize how the bread gets buttered around here, and it's with the assistance of people in the hospitality industry and people at GVB that serve the hospitality industry. And in this case, it wasn't just GVB. I want to make sure that everybody that was involved gets a little bit of recognition here. So it was Nate and Milton were up there. We had representatives from G4S. Did I hear Am Orient was involved as well?
Yes, Am Orient actually managed the program, the project. So they managed the supplies part, which G4S provided, and the actual installation and repairs done by Polyphase. So it was Yuli Lenkowski from Am Orient who actually was out there, ensuring that the project was complete.
So fill this part in for me. Now, number one, it's been a long time. Number two, it's $1.8 million. And the other part of it is, it's just streetlights, right? What was the big deal? Why did it take so long? And Nate mentioned that there were, since the installation all of those years ago, I think this goes back to about 98, 99, when the new streetlight systems were put together down there. And they've been through a lot, I guess, huh?
That's right. And also, Ray, the problem, too, is there was no follow-up maintenance. So with anything, that you install, if you don't have proper maintenance, regular maintenance, eventually it will deteriorate. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with the lights down here. So we had to really put money into this to restore it completely instead of doing spot repairs. Right.
And that had been a problem. There was a guy that used to call me when I was at K57, and he'd call me on a regular basis. I want to say it was Art. And Art would call on a regular basis and give me the count of non-working lights down in Tumon. And it get to be a pretty big number. And so there was a lot of pressure to get that done, not just for the hospitality, but for everyone's safety. We got these video cameras down there, but at night they're useless because there's not enough light to see the faces of the people that might be committing crimes.
That's correct. Right, exactly. And what Am Orient did was they did an assessment, and they were able to identify the problems and the entire, revamping of installing the proper wiring, and that was another problem too. There was wiring problems, again, from lack of maintenance. These fixtures eventually just gave out.
Sure. Well, it's like anything else, and it's outside. If it's not like there were streetlights that were indoors, where it's a hermetically sealed environment. This stuff's outside, and there's storms and all kinds of stuff from the installation on. So 325 working lights, and I'm sure that you recall when Milton hit the switch on it, when the chairman hit the switch on it, there were people across the way that noticed that the lights went on, including this jogger that started clapping. She was so happy. It's like, oh my God, this is great. She can see everything all the way down to the Nico now. So I'm really delighted, and I was disappointed that there weren't more media people there last night because I thought it was a big story. I think you'll get a little bit more coverage on it in the news tonight. But folks, as you are down in Tumon this weekend, and there's going to be thousands of people that will be down in Tumon. First race lights off at what, 3, Josh? Is that your go time?
Yeah, that's the go time. Definitely 3 a.m. for all the runners. So with the new LED light fixtures, it's definitely Tumon will be a lot brighter and safer for not just the runners, but all the supporters and volunteers and everyone that frequents Tumon on a daily basis. So.
And that's my stomping grounds these days for my training. So I'm looking forward to being able to run in better lit conditions up and down the roadways. I'm sure the merchants, the hoteliers, and the retailers are pretty happy about that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Milton Mornaga, he's with PHR Ken Corp. So all the hotels there that he goes and checks out and manages, everyone is fairly happy that the lights are brighter and better in Tumon. And all of this was paid for with tourism dollars. So it's just another way that tourism works for the community.
I'm glad that you pointed that out. One other point that I'll make here is that these are brand new LED technology lights, so they can burn brighter without the expense of the old sodium lights.
Exactly, that's correct.
So that's it's the longer term savings, and what we save in power we can put in maintenance, and so over the long term we will always have these beautiful light fixtures for us.
Correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's definitely right, Ray. And we're really happy that this project is completed, and just looking forward to making use of it more, and just feeling safer in Tumon, running it in the evening time or the early morning hours with all our friends and family.
I got you. Well, see, I paid attention to the press release and I listened to the speech. So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great weekend, Josh. I'll see you Sunday morning.
Yes, I'll see you Sunday morning, Ray. Good luck to all the runners, and happy birthday to Pilar Laguatnia. Today's their birthday.
And even Jerry Gutierrez's own birthday today.
Oh, wow.
Viva cumpleaños.
Celebration.
All right, buddy. I'll see you guys pretty soon. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me on the air. I think it's a big story, and it's not just because I spent a lot of time goofing off on the road down there. I think it's a big story because it's nice to see something happening here, isn't it? Don't you like that? When you see, because you think about the responsibilities of the government. Huh? And what do we want them to do? I want them to make me healthy if they can, if I get sick. So we get public health, public education, and safety. And it's nice to have cops out there. I love the G4S guys on the bikes. I know many of them. So do you. And I like the idea that they view lit streets as a public safety issue. And so when something big like that happens, when something happens and somebody's doing the job right, I want to give them the accolades that they deserve for it. That's why you say whatever you want to about anything else in the government of Guam. The guys at DPW that are laying down the new reflectors, I haven't seen any of them pop up yet. These are our guys. You remember the last time we put reflectors on the road? Some contractor, some fly-by-night got in there and did it, and they did it wrong. And so these things that stay stuck on the ground for 24, 35 hours, and big truck comes by, pop them right out. And that's why we don't have very many reflectors on the roads until the guys at DPW started going out and doing that as well. So there's a big deal to be made about that, and DPW guys are going to be going out and doing some more work. Kevin talking about that this morning. Gil Breeze, Sentati Lane in Pidi, Biang Street in Mongmong, Palikiran, Dueña Street in Agate, Frederico Street down in Hagana Heights, Jose Canata Street in Umatic, Namo Falls, Polino Heights, Asaguero Street in Jotnia, Ananos Street, Tunquico, Demetrio Meno, Bele Street, and Careta, Bendero, Padre Palomo Street in Agana, Carmen Memorial Drive in Tamuning, and Seneso Field in Maina. That's all Gov Guam work going to be done there. And I've seen some of the work that they've done in other roadways, and they're doing all right. Although I will say that's kind of a long time coming. I'm glad that Glenn is able to do it. I'm glad that they've got the money to do it. I guess that's where the increase, the fuel taxes, are eventually ending up. So I'm delighted to see that our tax dollars are finally being used for something that I can see on the roads. That's good too. But I remember during the Camacho administration, The second one, not the first. I'm not that old. But I remember one day I got a call from Felix, Governor Camacho, and Larry Perez. Do you remember Larry Perez? Larry was running DPW for a while. He'd done some bird dogging on the GTA sale, and went from there to DPW, running some heavy projects. And at the time of the initial part of the military buildup, that first conversation, and I remember they called me up one day and said, "What are you doing later?" And I said, "Nothing." Why? They said, "Let's go for a ride." Ride with the governor? Sure. So we went on this windshield tour, I think they call it. And Larry and the governor and I were in the car, and we were going around looking at all of these different roads, village streets. Because stuff can be done with the big roads. We were worried about secondary and tertiary streets in the villages. And a lot of the streets that I just named are a lot of the places where we got down from the car to go and look at the shape of these roads and what we might be able to do. I mean, first time I ever went, who's that? Glenn? Glenn on? See Glenn Leon Guerrero? Hoffa like Glenn.
Hoffa.
I was just talking about the first time I'd been up and down some of these roadways, and it goes back to Larry Perez days, Migo. But I guess the difference is there was the desire to do that in the Camacho administration. There was a desire to do it at DPW. We just didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that, huh?
Yeah, it always does that.
Well, I was just taking advantage of the opportunity to brag about the work that you guys were going to be doing on these streets, and the stripes and the reflectors that you have on the roads these days. So that was. But there was a question that I should have asked the question when I first heard it, and I think it was Vice Speaker Terlahi that was talking to you at that get together we had for Lisa Murkowski. See, I'm just dropping names all over the place because I'm a mover and a shaker in this town, guys. So we're waiting for Lisa to come out of another meeting that she was having, and I think Therese was asking you about. It wasn't just the stripes inside the road, but it was stripes along the outside, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Because the new cars, the new technology, they have lane safety guards, so that if you're pulling out of a lane that you shouldn't be, it lets you know that you're getting into another lane or so. So we needed the outside lane to show the outside stripes to show that you're pulling off the road, or certainly for the new cars. But and also
I have a new car. Does it do it? Do you know? I mean, there's cameras. They've got cameras on these things so they can identify the edge of the right, the edge of the lane on the right and the left.
Yes. You go try it on the Marine Corps Drive. If you're going in, then you just start. If there's no cars on the left, you start to veer to the left, and get to the inner lane, and it'll start to the steering wheel will start to buzz, and to the right as well. It'll start to let you know that, hey, you're not staying in the lane.
Okay, I don't think my car has that. No, I get it. It's a 2017 Ridgeline. I don't think it has it. I don't remember seeing that in the table of contents on the manual. But that is very, very cool. So your guys are not just doing the striping for the inside. They're also going to be following along and making sure that the edges of the roadways are striped as well for the benefit of the new cars. It used to be we'd drive by Braille with the reflectors. That's how you knew you were getting outside of the lane was with that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I didn't like that because we were seeing that those bumpers would when they come off, they take off a part of the asphalt. But I stand corrected. I was telling my guys, let's not do this. But when they actually did that on Marine Corps Drive, it pops better. It is better for us visually. So I mea culpa and I asked for forgiveness, and I asked my guys if they can do it on 16 and all the other roads that we actually did strike.
Well, I'm spent a lot of time on 16, obviously, and more time on 10 these days. And I tell you what, it really, really makes a difference. And I like the idea that when I've got when my headlights are on in the morning, I can see it's white on one side and red on the other. And red means if you can see the red, you're going in the wrong direction. You're in the in the wrong lane, son.
Yeah.
Pick another one. So I think that's very, very cool. I wanted to ask a question, and I'm thinking this is probably not a DPW question at this point, and might actually be a Robert Hoffman question, because he was the guy that I used to talk about. I'm seeing more broken down vehicles on the side of the road. So if you go on Route 16 now, right in front of the big tire store in front of Barragata Heights, there's this car's been there for, I don't know, it was a week, 2 weeks or something like that, and it's just off the side of the road, and it looks like somebody's eventually going to come back to it, but they haven't been back to that car in a while. So I'm wondering, whose role is it to be able to find those abandoned vehicles in the side of the road and get rid of them?
It's mine, but I don't have the funds to deal with scrap. I mean, I'll have to. I mean, I can pull it to a place, but the problem is then I have right now. I'm currently I'm wiping the sweat off my forehead and saying, thank goodness it's getting done, because all the cars that we actually go through over the decades. And fire and Guam police that we've scrapped, and now it's finally leaving our compound. We need to find a place for us to store cars, and then if we get the funds to scrap them, then we could scrap them. But at this point in time, I think they long time ago. I'm not sure how long ago, but there was a law that allows me to pick cars up, and they actually set up a fund for me. And I think that fund kitty is somewhere around $14,000 or something like that. So not any significant amount of money. Remember when we
and that was all done. There were 2 or 3 big recycling firms that we were able to do. You know, they would take the vehicles, and then they would take the scrap and sell it off in China and make Walkman out of it, or iPads and iPhones.
Right. And that money then, you were talking a lot more than the $14,000 that I have.
Yeah, well, and now it was so successful. I recall in the Camacho administration that the mayors kept doing it for a while as well. And I've been trying to remember whether they self-funded it or whether they put together some of those deals. But I just noticed that the program must be all done, because I'm starting to see more and more abandoned vehicles on the side of the roads. Any chance that you might be able to pull those things in and find the last known registered owner? And if they're not interested in the vehicle, I don't know, give it to charity or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. Well, we need it. Some of the vehicles are there, and the police don't want us to touch them because they're still doing whatever they're doing in terms of investigations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess.
But most of them, as you're mentioning, Ray, that's it's a good idea. Let me look into that.
Yeah, just something. Just trying to get them off the roads and pretty the place up. Glenn, I'm going to let you run. I appreciate a couple of minutes with you on the radio. I hope you have a good weekend.
You too. God bless you.
All right, man. It's the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. You might be listening going, did I remember that Ray was going to give away $150 worth of tickets to this wine tasting, food and wine pairing event?
If memory serves.
And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. It's going to be somewhat tricky to do, and this will only benefit at this time Facebook viewers. And what I'm going to do, because this is a wave thing. How about reflective paint in the corners of the median, so when it's dark or raining, we don't climb the median. They've been painted. You just got to go through and paint them again. So here's how I'm going to do the giveaway. I've got an image of a particular tourist, and all you have to do on Facebook Live, be the first person that correctly identifies this tourist.
Nice.
And you will win tickets to go and attend the 13th annual wine and food pairing that is being thrown by the Wave Club. The big sponsors, the Bank of Guam. This is going to take place on April the 12th at the Guam Museum. Because it is wine, I'm going to ask that all players be 18 years of age or older. I recognize that we got a big chunk of very young listeners here on the radio station, but let the grown-ups play here. Let the grown-ups play. So I'm going to, at this time, place the picture on our Facebook Live thing.
And I shall play the appropriate.
And here is our tourist. There's a particular tourist who came to Guam. Actually, one of our longest running tourists.
True.
Come to think of it.
True.
I mean, this guy was here for a long, long time.
Not too many
So the
days.
first person that can I correctly identify that is that Korean lady in shorts. No, Ken, it's not a Korean lady in shorts. That's for later. Korean hot pants is for later. Now we're trying to get somebody to be a winner. Lawrence J. El Cairo is the winner, correctly identifying Shoichi Yokoi as the longest-running tourist, and his photo on Facebook Live at this time. Congratulations to you, Lawrence J. And we'll get your name and winner information off Facebook. And in fact, I'll tell you on Facebook how you can come by the radio station and claim your tickets. It's for the 12th, so make sure that you get in sometime early next week. It's 9:31. That is iConnect time. Communicate, talk longer, connect for less with iConnect's push-to-talk and mobile plans.
For over 55 years, Community First has served our island as a full-service financial institution. And now, we're proud to introduce the new Community First Student-Run Credit Union, open in Manilao on Route 10. Guam's first student-run financial institution, which means it's operated by college students like us, ready to serve all our members, existing and new. We're just down the road from UOG and GCC. Community First Guam Federal Credit Union, now open in Manilao. This credit union is federally insured by NCUA.
On April 14th, join Bank of Guam for the first ever Hagåtña City E-Fit Run and Block Party to benefit the Guam Cancer Care and the American Cancer Society Guam. This event begins with a sunset run through our capital, starting at 5 p.m. at the Chamorro Village, and the excitement continues at our block party with food trucks, beer garden, live entertainment, and the greatest beast competition, and a fun-filled kids zone. The Hagåtña City E-Fit Run and Block Party, Saturday, April 14th, brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
So I got another ticket to give away, and I don't know. I'm do a contest and maybe do that specifically for people that are listening to the actual radio as opposed to the Facebook Live. But the Facebook Live thing, that was fun. It was a great idea. And give me a way that we can do this all the time. So I've left Yokoi's picture up there because I was reflecting on something that somebody told me a few years ago. And we were talking just general politics questions and Organic Act and that kind of thing. And he said, plain reading of the Organic Act would seem to mean that Yokoi, because he was here on Guam, hiding out in the boondocks at the time, would have become an American citizen by virtue of the Organic Act. Wow. As it was passed and universally applied to everybody on Guam. Now, I don't know that anybody ever brought that up to him when they pulled him out of the jungle. I thought that was always kind of a fun conversation back in those days. And there was boy, I tell you what, there was a ton of, I can only describe it, and my memory is that there was a ton of Guam mania at the time. Because, here comes after 28 years of living in the jungle, basically in a hole in the ground. It was a very amazing story at the time. And people loved to tell it, and everybody seemed to have some kind of a connection to Yokoi. We had some relatives fly in from the States and stayed with us over the Easter break, and we went hiking, and the idea was that we were going to try to find his actual cave, because there are places there that you can go, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's Yokoi's cave."
Right.
It's not really Yokoi's cave.
No one really knows.
Yeah. The real Yokoi's cave. That's separate and apart. We hide that from people so we don't vandalize it and go in there and find stacks of Pampers and cans of beer. 9:34 in the morning, and we are about at the small talk portion of the program. Unless there's something that you want to talk about. We had earlier gotten into a bit of a flap. Vince Akimoto called and was talking about we need to not worry about bringing in all these H-2 employees, these visa guys, and the applications, and instead get locals to do all of those construction jobs. And the answer from a lot of guys that I talk to in the construction business is, wouldn't that be swell? Wouldn't that be sweet? We'll get all these guys and find the ones that don't have a problem working outside in the hot or the rain in the middle of these construction jobs, because that's where they take place. The construction jobs that need to get done are not in the office. They're outside. And you need to be able to lift bags of concrete and hammer nails and screw and bend rebar and attach rebar so that when you're done and they pour concrete on it, that it doesn't fall down. So I don't know how to do that. I don't have that kind of training. I'm sure I could get that kind of training, and make $18, $19 an hour for some of those jobs. But for some of the other jobs, they're just not going to pay that much. And so we've got to now. There's another point that popped into my head, and unfortunately, I have the same problem that you do. Is I will think of the perfect thing to say a half hour after the time to say it will pop up. And the thing, one of the reasons why it's important that we import labor where we can, is because we don't always need them. We won't always be in build-up phase. There will always be construction on Guam, but I don't know that it will always be at the same rate that we have now. And so the important thing is we import labor and we get them to do the job. We pay them for it, and then goodbye, bye-bye. The jobs are gone. We don't need you to stick around here and keep walking around going, where's the work? Where's the work? Where's the work? If we're not doing another military buildup, and if we're not rebuilding Tumon, tearing down old hotels and putting new ones up, then we don't need the labor. And so it's important that we are able to say, and there's a line about hookers I'm not going to go into, but that's why we pay them, so that they go away, right? That's. I know sometimes you just turn on the radio at the wrong time and you hear something and you go, what did he just say? What's the topic today? And so that is an important factor. They're not going to stay here. They're not going to be a perpetual drain on the economy, a perpetual drain on the infrastructure. The labor is imported, and then it goes away. And the same thing can happen with our own guys. There's a lot of work that's being done. I was listening to that earthquake in California. I'm wondering if anything big got knocked down. Doesn't sound like it.
No, 5-something, not really that much.
But there's all kinds of disasters in all kinds of places, and from time to time, you got somebody with skills here on Guam. No reason why they can't go there. So that was a little bit of a topic that we were yakking about earlier, and the other topic that is in my head of a couple is number one, the RFP has gone out. You'll be reading about this more in the next couple of days. The RFP for health insurance for the government of Guam is gone back out, and I'm trying to remember. This is a BJ or Carlo question. I'm trying to remember where we are now. So the way it is now is the government has got a bunch of different people that they can do business with, right? They take care and select care and stay well and all of that. And so the idea was supposed to be that there was a lot of choice for all of the employees and retirees in the government of Guam. And I guess that got to be expensive, and so they've made a change. They did this, I think they did this before we got back on the air. Were you paying attention? So they changed it now, so it's just going to be one. They'll select just one insurance company.
Yeah, I think they did that last year, just towards...
Okay, somebody might have the answer. 888-8255. I don't have all of the information on this in my head because it's generally not the thing that worries me. I'm about choice, the presumption being that if you've got a lot of choice, if you've got a lot of competition, then the numbers should be coming down. Doesn't always work like that. We're talking about health care. We're talking about health insurance. And I can't, for the life of me, remember when prices were coming down for that. So the rant that I've got, though, is the rant about when these insurance companies sit down with the government of Guam and we begin to negotiate rates. It is almost always done to the benefit of, and you can imagine why, the employees and the retirees of the government of Guam. But they don't make the entire contribution. A big chunk of the contribution for the health insurance comes from the taxpayer, and there's nobody representing the taxpayer in any of these. And they'll say, oh no, Senator so and so will sit in on those things. He's there to represent the taxpayer. No, he's not. He's there to get votes from the government of Guam employees. And so I will make the rant again. That for any conversation having to do with health insurance for government of Guam employees and retirees, I insist There is a taxpayer advocate that is in there. It's 20 minutes away from 10 o'clock in the morning. Ben Ferguson's on the phone. Ben is the guy that's in charge of many things, runs PIC, and now will be running the PIC golf course. Way to go, Ben.
Well, thank you very much, Ray. That's quite a compliment and quite an intro.
Have you ever watched Caddyshack?
Yeah. In fact, I think I've memorized most of the lines from Caddyshack.
So there's a bunch of fun stuff in Caddyshack too. I'm just throwing ideas, just spitballing. It'd be the biggest. We could take the old CCP and turn it into like miniature golf.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to write that one down. That's an interesting idea. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is after this weekend, because we've got this small event happening on Sunday.
Yeah.
After this weekend, I'm going to download Caddyshack and Caddyshack 2 and watch both of those for some
inspiration,
for some creativity. I like that.
Inspiration and ideas. Name holes after. There's a Rodney Dangerfield hole. Right? There we go. Somebody will get it. 20 away from the top of the hour. Yeah, you are going to be busy. I'm surprised you've got a couple of minutes to call me. Went by the shop last night. I guess you guys had your big volunteer meetings and your big group. What do we call it? Indoctrination, right? So this is how we run the race, and this is your job.
Yeah, that's right. We always make it an effort to get in front of all of our employees that are working the event and all of the other volunteers that work the event. Mm-hmm. And we probably have upwards of 600 people that work the event, and we try and get with all of them in the days preceding the event. Just helpful reminders on what you need to be doing. And try and get everybody on the right page and get everybody motivated to bring this amazing event together that happens on Sunday morning.
So the girls that hand out the medals are they allowed to mouth kiss the runners? Can they do that? Because I always ask and they just kind of look at me funny.
Absolutely not.
No mouth kissing. Yeah, okay.
That would be absolutely not on that one. In fact, a lot of them are somewhat reticent to actually put the medal on some of these runners because, as you can imagine, after you've run 26 miles, you're somewhat sweaty. So some of them just hand the medal to the runner.
Yeah. Well, I always bow so that they can put it on, and I wait for the kiss, and I never get it. And I asked once I asked one of the girls, I said, "Do I get a kiss?" And she pointed at the guy, and talked to him about that.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't know. But I'm doing the half marathon. Looking forward to it. Because that means that I get to sleep in an extra hour. So marathon lights off at 3 and half marathon at 4 and then the 10K at 5 and the 5K at 6, right?
Hey, you did that well. That's
okay.
Right. That's correct.
Well, I'm trying to keep it all in my head. The expo will start in about an hour and 20 minutes from now, and that means that's the signal for guys like me. If you've already registered, it's packet pickup time. So go in there and get your packet and your T-shirt and all of those things. It's an expo, so you get to walk around there and buy some new sunglasses and wristbands and goos. Goos are important, especially for the long-distance guys. But it's also going to be your last chance at the expo to sign up.
Yes, that's right. So if you haven't registered, and I think there's probably quite a few people in the community that haven't registered, we've created a discount that is a price that's just above what you would have paid at the last minute to register. We discounted what would be the expo registration fee to try and stimulate some additional people to come out and register for the event. We've got plenty of open slots. And the expo is open from 11 to 6 today and from 9 to 5 on Saturday. So a lot of opportunity to come down and register and not only visit with a lot of our great sponsors and vendors, but be entertained. Lots of stuff going on stage. And Jamaican Grill's got this incredible little food court that we create outside of the expo. And so come down and have a bite to eat while you're down here.
Well, you know, the entrance to the expo, there's a bar there. So there might be some
that as well, yeah. So if you want a libation of a different kind, you can always stop at that bar, and we encourage that here at PAC.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand when you don't need to twist my arm. I know exactly what that's all about. So that's going to be happening. There are no race packet pickups after the close the expo on Saturday. That's going to be all done, and if you don't get it by then, you're not running.
Good point. in that packet pickup is only at the expo, and so there is no packet pickup on race morning. So if you've registered for the event, you absolutely have to come down to the expo or send someone that you provided with approval to pick up your packet for you, and we'll accept those folks as well, as long as you've got something in writing and an ID that shows that you're picking up a packet for someone else.
So, and another question here, this will come up every once in a while, and it's surprising how easy it is to resolve, is people that might have signed up for the marathon and for whatever reason weren't able to get their training in, their diet's not working out for them, and all of a sudden 26.2 miles sounds like several miles too long to go. There's no shame, and I've done this before myself, there is absolutely no shame in downgrading your participation and going from a marathon to a half marathon. You can change races, right?
Yes, you can. In fact, yeah, we would much rather have someone be comfortable with the distance that they're doing than try and get into a distance that they don't feel comfortable with. Yeah, so if you aren't comfortable with running a marathon, easily can downgrade to a half marathon. We've got a table set up just specifically for that purpose.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem at all. It's interesting though, Ray. It's rare that we get the person that wants to upgrade to the marathon. In fact, I don't think that's ever happened.
I can't think of one.
Ray.
No,
challenge out there to you.
Ain't gonna do it. The longest that I have run, since I ran the Okinawa Marathon, I think the longest that I've run since then is only about 7 miles. No, it's closer to 10. Closer to 10, but that's still way short of anything like marathon training.
Okay, well then I'm going to give you out on this one then.
Yeah, I get a gimme on this because it ain't gonna work. And then there's another thing. It just came out yesterday in a press release, and I spent some time talking with Josh Tykenko about this, but I still don't kind of understand how it will work. So if I've got people that are hanging out waiting for me to finish my half marathon, but they take pictures of all kinds of other people that are in the race, that all goes someplace, and they can sell that.
Yeah, that's right. This is a cool thing that we're doing with a company called PhotoFrame that allows you as a non-participant that wants to take photos, or even as a participant that's carrying their camera with them, to take photos of other runners and upload these into a particular website. And then if participants go into that website and find their photo and they'd like to purchase it, we provide the photographer that took that photo, or PhotoFrame provides the photographer that took that photo with a $5 commission. So it could actually be quite lucrative, and this particular company has done business with quite a few other events here in Asia, and it's proven to be relatively successful. So it's our first year doing it. Docomo Pacific is the one that introduced this organization to us, and so we're thankful that Docomo brought them to us. And so it'll be kind of fun to see how many people do that and how many photos get posted. And ultimately maybe purchased by some folks. So, yeah, please, if you're not participating in the event, you want to come out and cheer on some runners and
bring a camera.
Your chance to make some cash.
Yeah, bring a camera and find a good spot along the route and take pictures of guys as they're coming in on all of the races. And there should be somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 chances to take pictures of runners, right?
That is indeed right, and you can multiply 3,500 or 4,000 times the number of pictures that you take in various places, and then you can increase your odds significantly of making some cash.
This could be a real moneymaker. So sign up at, what's the name of the place? Photoframe.com.
Actually, I think the best place to gather the information on that is to go to our website, and there's information on the website, so United Airlines Guam Marathon.com, and then find the information at that location.
Okay, now, last big plug here for the app. There's still time to download the app and see some of the things that people have done by way of their training and their participation in it, but you can obviously also continue to add things, pictures of you at the expo, pictures of you picking up your packet, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So you can go to the Android store or you can go to the Apple store and download the app, United Airlines Guam Marathon. If you search that, you'll find the app very quick and easy to download, and then that's your one-stop shop for everything, all things related UGM, and a little bit easier to navigate than the event website. So please do that.
Well, I tell you what, there's plenty more to go over, but not a lot of time. I know how busy you are and how many things, the 1,000,001 moving parts that you've got to get to today. So I wanted to touch on just the important stuff and congratulate you at this point on a race well done. I think the setup on this, I think the publicity on this, I think just capturing the imagination of a lot of runners, and you don't need to go any further than Tumon, anywhere between about 5:30 and 9:30 at night to see an army of people that are prepping now, that are continuing their training for this marathon. So I'm glad that you guys are doing it.
Well, thank you very much, Ray, and thank you for those kind words. And as you said, we've got a few things going on. Expo opening at 11 a.m., as you said. We've got a little bit of a grand opening ceremony that we're going to do around 10:45 with Naoko Takahashi, our wonderful ambassador from Japan and an Olympic gold medalist in the marathon. So.
She's the most aggravating person on the course because she always runs up to me and passes me like I'm going in reverse. She says, "Enjoy your run. Have a good time on the run. Okay, bye-bye." And then she just, phew.
Yeah, she's even though she's obviously is not a competitive runner anymore, she's probably still a little bit faster than the average folks, right?
Yeah. And Bubba, I'm just kidding. She doesn't aggravate. It's just one of those things. I'm huffing and puffing down there, and she just tiptoes away. Look at me, I'm running.
Yeah. A little lighter on her feet than you and I, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Ben, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Congratulations and good luck.
See you around. Thanks again.
You'll see me on Sunday, first thing in the morning.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. 10 away from the top of the hour here, and real quick break. Read up a couple of things that I've gotten in the emails and chats, and close up the week for you.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
You know, our news partners here at the Point are the Guam Daily Post, and there, I don't think has ever been a more important story that they've written than what you will find on page 2 of today's Guam Daily Post. I'm sure you can find it online as well, but this is there's something about this story. It'll get you right in the fields. It's the story of the lady that drowned on Easter Sunday. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. And I read that. That will bring a tear to your eye. I'm not going to tell you too much about it other than there. A lot of emotion connected to that. So read it and then find somebody that you love looking at and hug him as hard and as long as you can, and hug her as hard and as long as you can, and appreciate what you got, because you just never know how fast that can be taken from you. It's an incredible story. It's very well written. Like I said, you'll find it on page 2 of today's Guam Daily Post. There's a few other stories that you'll find there as well. Officers managed to intercept some meth that was thrown over the fence. You read this story? I'm always interested in this because I pass by every once in a while, and you know, there's that whole don't stop here. You go down the hill and pass by the prison, and they don't like people stopping the car and doing anything there, because that's a good place to throw things over the fence so that the guys on the inside get access to whatever it is tobacco and stockings and cell phones and betel nut or whatever today's contraband is. But they managed to find a bag of contraband, including ice, I guess, that got thrown over there. And so they're working on trying to investigate. They're pretty sure they know who it was intended for.
Right.
And so what they're trying to find out now is who it came from, who was doing the delivery.
Yeah, and they recently set up perimeter cameras, so they'll probably have that information.
Yeah, and so they're going to do the investigation. They're going to find them, and then they're going to go to court, and the judges will let them out.
Yeah,
because there's another one of those stories in the deal today. I'm less and less confident in our ability to deal with criminals. And in the Daily Post, there's a editorial that sounds very much like something that I said on the radio the other day. So what is the incredible signal that we're sending to people is that you can do whatever you want here, and if you make up the right story, the judge will look the other way. A slap on the wrist, maybe even a slap on the wrist. You know what's going to happen is these guys that are involved in these ox and palm heists are going to get pinched harder in the courtroom probably than people that are distributing meth. And you think about the state in this town. People, they've got to lock the doors in the house, home invasion, so people can go inside and steal your goods while you're sleeping in your bed. Right? And you know what makes people do that? Meth makes people do that. Meth makes turn their families upside down. And just think about all of the bad things that happen in this town. Most of them have everything to do with methamphetamines and the desire of these people to be able to find something and fence it and get some money so they can support their next high. And, man, we went through this in the 70s with heroin. And this started, I remember, real bad in about the 90s. And every time I think that we've got a generation here that has seen just how bad methamphetamines can be in this community, you'd think by now that people would stop taking it after they see what it's done to their family and friends. But it's amazing. It's amazing the longevity that this drug has had in the community, because you've got people that will sell it without any thought of a consequence for themselves, their families, or the people that they're selling it to, or their families. And so I hope in this upcoming election there's an opportunity for me to vote out and to express nil confidence in some of the people that are wearing robes here. Because if they think that they're doing this community a favor by letting people out because they've got the right kind of sob story, they're absolutely wrong. That's not what we put them there for. There's laws and there's sentencing guidelines, and I'd like to see more of that kind of thing happen, where people that are arrested and are convicted by a jury of their peers for doing something as heinous as selling methamphetamines, ice in this community, these people have got to go in for a long time to send a message to everybody else that we don't condone this. And this goes back. It's not just something I discovered now. This will take you back to when I sat on a task force that the First Lady Jerry Gutierrez at the time had spearheaded, and we worked with people at the courts. We worked with people in the police department. We worked with people in the gangs, and did all kinds of stuff with these folks. And all of that effort is for nothing if the judges are letting people scot-free. Just my rant on it, and speaking of, and it might sound odd going in this direction now, but there is still apparently no medicinal marijuana pot testing facility on Guam.
Yeah, they said probably that's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah, because it's $1 million just to get started, and that's one of the first things that we need to have as we start setting up the infrastructure that we're going to need for medicinal marijuana. Methamphetamines, one animal, marijuana, another animal, and we're never going to get to the ground on medicinal marijuana on Guam. This is my prediction. This is right up there with the bottle bill, right? Where we get a bottle and we can have a deposit, and then we get the deposit back. We're never, ever going to do that, and we're never, ever going to have medicinal marijuana. And so maybe we'll take it back to the voters in an upcoming referendum and say, hey, you know what we ought to do? Let's just talk about if you wanted to grow a plant. You know, in the backyard of my house, I got a plant that's got doni on it because I like doni. And I like to be able to go outside and just grab a whole bunch of them and put them in whatever it is that I'm cooking. And if you want next to your doni plant to have a plant that makes some marijuana so you can take the edge off a week and start into enjoying a weekend, as long as you're not selling it to anybody else. And you can use it for your glaucoma or your fibromyalgia, or I just had a lousy day at work today, itis. Then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And if there's enough of those floating around here, then we won't have a problem with marijuana dealers, I don't think. Just a thought. You can play around with it if you want to. Hit me up on the Facebook over the weekend. Otherwise, I'll see you out there somewhere. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG Hagutnya. Headquarters for Fox News. Got some of that coming your way now. Brian Kilmeade, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and a great weekend lineup as well. So if only listening to Morning Show, leave the radio on for a little bit and see what the other guys got to say. Fox News Live on KUSG Hagutnya.
National Guard troops to assist in Border Patrol. He gives a number.
We're looking from 2,000 to 4,000, and we'll probably keep them, or a large portion of them, until such time as we get the wall.
The president with the comments this afternoon on his way back from West Virginia, but the logistics still not clear.
The Pentagon is coordinating with state governors to figure out the answers to questions about a National Guard deployment along the southern border.